City. Sox visit the Tigers tomorrow. One player missed Bears practice due to injury yesterday. Additionally, DeMarcus Walker and defensive backs Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson were limited participants. Bears kick off the season against the Packers Sunday. Week 1 of the NFL season actually begins tonight with defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City beginning a title defense against my Detroit Lions at Arrowhead Stadium. U.S. Open Day 10, Rock Island's Madison Keys punched her ticket to the semis after a win over ninth-seeded Marketa Vondrousova in straight sets. The news service of Salem Surround. You can go right now to surroundchicago.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
November 2nd, 2020, marked the 100th anniversary of the first commercial radio broadcast. We're still here, and we're bigger and better than ever. You can still listen to us over this great radio station, but now there are no limitations. Your smartphone is now your smart radio. Listen to us online on the app, tunein.com, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey.com. Your smart speaker can find us too. With radio, there is no separation anxiety. We're always on. AM 560, The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Are you looking for a fun and exciting way to connect with God and learn about His incredible world? Then In Grace has an adventure for you. Join Jim Scudder Jr. every Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560. Each week, Jim Scudder Jr. shares powerful stories and insights about God's Word and His world. Whether you're a longtime believer or just starting to explore your faith, you'll find something to learn, inspire, and encourage you on In Grace. You're also invited to join Pastor Scudder as he preaches every Sunday at 11 a.m. at the Quentin Road Baptist Church. At Quentin Road, you'll find a warm and welcoming atmosphere, uplifting worship, and a message of hope that will help you grow in your faith and walk with God. So don't miss In Grace with Jim Scudder Jr. on Sunday mornings at 6:30 a.m. And join us at Quentin Road Baptist Church on Sundays at 11 a.m. For more information, call 800-78-GRACE. or go to ingraceradio.com.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
It's 5:12. Let's get an update on the roads now. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time is a service of Blindster.com. Blindster has sold millions of custom blind shades and shutters to satisfied customers across the country. A-plus rating from the BBB. Right now, save 50% off any order during their Labor Day sale at Blindster.com. Kennedy inbound due to an earlier accident. Jackknife semi got delays between Armitage and Ontario and 20 minutes inbound from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound, you have an accident that just occurred near Montrose on the Kennedy. Stevenson right now jammed solid between Ashland and the Dan Ryan. Typical morning heavy, 22 in to DuSable. Lakeshore Drive, accident right shoulder, northbound on the Tri-State between North Avenue and the Grand Avenue curve. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A few clouds this morning, then partly sunny. The high today, 70. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Partly sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high 71. And then partly sunny, beauty of a day on Saturday, the high Saturday at 74. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
67 O'Hare, 69 Lakefront, 68 Midway, 65 Aurora, Your Lake Michigan water temp, still 72. Your next news update, 5:30, Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Dennis Prager. Sign up today for an unforgettable experience in Israel this October. Mike Gallagher and I are traveling to the Holy Land on the Stand with Israel tour with our trusted partner, Inspiration Cruises and Tours. This trip of a lifetime to Israel is one you don't want to miss. Register today before it's too late at standwithisraeltour.com, standwithisraeltour.com, or call 855-565-5519, 855-565-5519.
When you're serious about your concealed carry training and education and are ready to learn from an active police officer with a teaching degree, check out Illinois Concealed Carry Training in Midlothian. You'll learn safe, responsible firearm use, home defense planning, conflict avoidance, situational awareness, and how to remain physically, morally, and financially safe in the event you must use your firearm in self-defense or the defense of another. Weekday and weekend classes available.
I'm Sergeant Gary Carr, police firearms trainer and the owner of Illinois Concealed Carry Training. We'll arm you with what really counts: knowledge and training. All concealed carry curriculums are not created equal. This may be the single most important decision you'll ever make for yourself and your loved ones. Choose between 3 and 16-hour classes that are available both weekdays and weekends. We are your one-stop for concealed carry classes, fingerprints, and legal defense plans.
Register for a class today and get 10% off class fees with promo code AM560. Visit IllinoisConcealedCarry.com. That's IllinoisConcealedCarry.com.
It seems like everyone is on a complicated diet these days. Gluten-free, keto, metabolic, sugar-free. And with these diets comes special dietary protocol and food products. You can find plenty of advice on your social media sites, but you need expertise to purchase the right food items. A visit to Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop is necessary to shop the best food choices for a medical diet or health plan. Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop stocks all the hard-to-find foods you're looking for, like wheat and dairy alternatives, sugar-free baking mixes, healthy snacks, and more. There's no longer a reason to put off that diet you're supposed to be on when you have Lil's. The staff has personally researched and vetted each item in the store and has plenty of choices in stock.
Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop on 111th Street in Mount Greenwood on the south side of Chicago. Stop in and shop in person or order online at lilsdietary.com and get your items shipped right to your home. lilsdietary.com. Shop, learn, and be healthy.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, commercial property, or even vacant land, let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. She's reliable, responsive, personable, and extremely thorough when helping you deal with an otherwise stressful transaction. Attorney Kim leads with her values and is committed to providing legal services with excellence. To contact Attorney Kim, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com. Whether it's drafting agreements, negotiating contract terms, or closing on a property, Attorney Susan J. Kim can do it all. Over 10 years of experience and her wealth of knowledge tackling complicated legal negotiations and breaking them down into a smooth, easy-to-understand process is what she does best. So let attorney Susan J. Kim step in. To schedule your legal consultation today, visit sjkimlaw.com. That's sjkimlaw.com or call 847-906-3166. Susan J. Kim Attorney at Law is a state of Illinois licensed real estate attorney.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Talk about irony. The people who claim to want to save democracy are trying to ban Donald Trump from the ballot in 2024. They claim he's ineligible under the 14th Amendment's disqualification clause, which holds that anyone who's engaged in insurrection or rebellion can't hold office without a two-thirds vote of each House of Congress. On its face, the argument makes no sense. Trump hasn't even been charged with, much less convicted, of insurrection or rebellion. It's ludicrous to try to shoehorn a constitutional provision drafted for Civil War rebels to fit a protest that turned into a riot. Whether you like Trump or hate him, or are somewhere in between, this is blatant election interference. The maneuver is a clear effort to deprive the American people of the right to make their own choice for president. And it shows that Trump's enemies lack confidence in their own ability to beat him fair and square.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com.
You can't live forever, but your legacy can. For over 185 years, families have trusted Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago with 47 locations throughout Cook and Lake counties to set their legacies in stone. A prepaid cemetery plan locks in today's prices and safeguards against rising inflation. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, unfiltered, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SNC is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I just had retired from a union carpenter, so my body was a little wore out. My shoulders were hurting. Like, I eat potatoes and stuff, but I wasn't getting all the vegetables right, so I started thinking about that. And because there's no compounds, it's just all natural. It's not like vitamins you buy at the store where you read the ingredients and there's like all different things. I don't even know how to pronounce the names that are in these vitamins. But this Balance of Nature is just all natural stuff, no artificial things. So I thought, I'll give that a try. You know, the stuff works. So now you guys made it easy for me to stay healthy.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Are you a driver of a Ford PowerStroke diesel engine? Tired of taking your Ford PowerStroke diesel in to be misdiagnosed or paying for repairs that don't fix the problem? Well, bring your vehicle to the diesel headquarters, Remke's Garage. The shop is equipped with state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment and highly trained technicians. Take it to the experts. Take it to Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage specializes in Ford PowerStroke, Chevy Duramax, Dodge Cummins, Mercedes Sprinter, and Isuzu diesel engines and transmission repairs. At Remke's, they'll make your vehicle repairs convenient by offering a free commercial loaner vehicle.
Remke's Garage, where you won't spend $1,000 to fix a $100 problem. Call for details and to schedule an appointment at 800-5-REMKES or visit Remke'sGarage.com. Remke's Garage, your diesel headquarters.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Sports and politics and sports and politics and sports and politics and intersection. Arrogance and ignorance. Arrogance, ignorance, and arrogance and ignorance. Intersection.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We begin with sports and politics just because of it's football season.
Yeah, tonight's a big night. First NFL game.
Who's playing? You're super excited about it. I can tell.
I knew Broncos.
Wrong.
Darn it. I know the Packers play the Bears on Sunday at Soldier Field.
Okay. Well, you
Right.
can
I mean, I
go to
could-
the Magic Box
I
and
could
find out
Google
that
it.
it's the Chiefs and the Lions.
The
but,
Chiefs and the Lions.
Joe Kennedy is the high school coach. Bremerton High School, Washington State. You remember this story. He prayed on the field after the game, and he was sanctioned for doing so. He took his case all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and he won. And he was back for the kickoff game of Bremerton High School and Washington State's football season.
Good.
And after the game, 8 years later, 8-year journey from being improperly sanctioned by the school to being victorious at the Supreme Court, he makes his way after the game, and Bremerton won, to midfield by himself, has a moment of silent reflection, and he had this to say about that.
I just want to thank everybody for being out here and supporting the Knights. What an awesome way to come back after an 8-year battle. This is what it's all about. The best part of tonight was the crowd that came out to support our team, and it was just awesome. On that third touchdown, number 15, Ollie, came up to me and said, "Coach, that last one was for you. Welcome back." And kind of melted my heart a little bit. So I give props to everybody here, and man, what an awesome evening. I feel like we have fought the good fight, and we finished this race, and we kept the faith the whole entire time, and it was absolutely 100% worth it. There is nothing better than America and the Constitution, and it just proves that it is alive and well. It's not just for one or two people, it's for everyone. And I'm so blessed to be here and be with you guys.
Religious zealot. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I love his patriotism. Really, he's so appreciative of the rights that he has as an American citizen.
His coming back was from out of town. Even though he grew up there, he's no longer there. And so you had your moment, came back, the conquering hero, as it were, had your moment at midfield, got to interact with the players again. You know, you heard about him dedicating, the one player dedicated a touchdown to him. Are you going to stay?
Oh.
You weren't sure what you're going to do after tonight. So you're going to be at practice coming up, but then is there going to be another game for you?
And that's what I'm leaving up to God. We haven't even talked about it. Tonight was the milestone of where we wanted to get to. We fought 8 years because what we asked for from the Supreme Court and all the courts was just to be able to be a coach and to be able to pray after a football game. Both of those were accomplished, and I've gotten what I've asked for. Anything beyond that is just a plus, and we're going to let God direct us and our family direct us.
And where did God direct Coach Joe Kennedy? Back to Florida.
Oh, well,
Not
all
staying.
of you people.
He resigned.
He resigned? Okay, so excuse my ignorance. So during that 8-year period, he was allowed to coach or he was not allowed to coach?
He wasn't there. In a letter, his resignation letter, Coach Kennedy said, among other things, this: "It's apparent that the reinstatement ordered by the Supreme Court will not be fully followed after a series of actions meant to diminish my role and single me out in what I can only believe is retaliation by the school district." So,
so in the end, it's the old school district.
well, in the end, it's understanding that more people need to have that a victory is only true victory if you get the full implementation of the victory. And we saw this in the Masterpiece Cake Shop cases too. It was Jack Phillips. He won. Then he went back to Colorado, and the government found new and exciting ways to try and infringe upon his rights, such that the battle continued after he was successful before the high court. And so it seems here that maybe there was, he prayed at the field after the first game in midfield by himself, and it previously had been, players could voluntarily join him or voluntarily not.
Players that wanted to pray.
So I wonder if there is sort of a normative ostracization going on that's being directed by school officials who are actually anti-religious zealots and probably feel a bit unnerved that Joe Kennedy had this victory and is getting all this attention, mainly at the school district's expense because they're the bad actor in this story. They're wearing the black hat. So he got his victory, but if you think that these victories are then just sort of automatically implemented, a court so decrees, and then everybody just complies with the order and the spirit of the order. Not the left. So the good news is that Kennedy had his moment. The good news is that he's in Florida for him. The good news is that there's a precedent now for other coaches and school officials because of the Supreme Court's decision in the Kennedy case. But the cautionary tale is you still need to compel abidance, obeyance at the local level, particularly when you're dealing with K through 12 school systems in today's America. That's the sad story.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hunter Biden to be indicted, 5:38.
And later, come and be poor for 2.5 hours. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
68 degrees, 529 on AM 560, The Answer. And federal prosecutors do plan to indict Hunter Biden before the end of the month on gun charges. President's son had agreed to a plea agreement that would have spared him jail time for allegedly purchasing a gun as a drug user. The Senate will begin moving a package of government funding bills next week. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he expects the first votes on Monday. And the manhunt for an escaped murderer continues in Pennsylvania. Danilo Cavalcante escaped a week ago from the Chester County Prison, about 25 miles west of Philadelphia. More than a dozen Chicago public school employees are accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars in federal funds. A report from CPS says the workers filed false statements through the Paycheck Protection Program. Of the 14, 8 have resigned and 4 were terminated. Residents once again at odds over migrants moving into another Chicago neighborhood. This time, they are expected to move into the Greektown area starting Friday. However, the public had some questions for city leaders about the shelter on Wednesday night.
14,000 people is a crisis. My concern is what will happen in the city of Chicago when we're really faced with a momentous situation that is truly a crisis.
The hostel can hold 136, but this time will hold 196 illegal migrants set to move in as early as Friday. 4 more busloads arrived in Chicago. Now there are 18 shelters operated by the city. A packed room at Evanston's Land Use Commission as residents Wednesday night argued with commissioners over Northwestern University's proposed renovations to Ryan Field. Northwestern is proposing an $800 million proposed project where Ryan Field will be replaced by a new state-of-the-art venue. Dave Davis is with Northwestern University.
Our new Ryan Field is an $800 million ticket to economic prosperity, with 35% dedicated to local, minority, and women-owned businesses. That's $208 million that we plan to spend locally.
Another Land Use Commission meeting is planned for further discussions on September 27. Restaurant workers in Chicago are another step closer to receiving a minimum wage boost. Some restaurants could now be another step closer to closing their doors. The ordinance took a significant stride forward Wednesday when 70 restaurant owners sent a letter to the city in support. This ordinance would mandate restaurants to implement a minimum wage increase over the next 2 years. City Council's Rules Committee voted to advance the ordinance to the Workforce Committee after hearing testimony from workers like Nataki Rose.
And women with that have families here. And we're not going back to work because it's not livable. The wage isn't livable.
The proposal aims to raise restaurant wages by $3 next year, an additional $3 by 2025. It is opposed by the Illinois Restaurant Association. One person is dead following a motorcycle crash in Libertyville. Authorities say a man riding a bike Tuesday on Route 21 collided with another vehicle and died at a nearby hospital. Cubs are within striking distance of the NL Central Division leaders following an 8-2 win over the Giants at Wrigley. After the sweep, the Northsiders trail Milwaukee now by 1.5 games. White Sox are in a series split with the Royals following a 6-4 victory in the finale in Kansas City. Just one player missed Bears practice yesterday. Defensive lineman DeMarcus Walker and defensive backs Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson were limited participants as the Bears get ready to prep for the Packers on Sunday. Tonight, the NFL season breaks the ice. Kansas City and Detroit. The news a service of the Pride stores with 17 locations throughout Chicagoland. Stop by their newest location, the Pride of Kane County in St. Charles, on the corner of Kirk and Main. The Pride stores, not your typical convenience store. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Do you want your child to come back from school hating God, America, and you? If the answer is no, the solution is St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard. I am the man, Cal. Look, I'm a Christian guy with 2 daughters out in this world, and it can get very scary. St. John's Lutheran School Lombard is the only school in all of Illinois that offers the Hillsdale College curriculum for kindergarten through 8th grade. It's a game changer, a nurturing environment with a Christian faith, traditional values, and critical thinking that teaches kids to think for themselves, not what to think. What a great thing to do for your child or grandchild. Strong academics with the Hillsdale curriculum and strong character. Go to stjohnslombard.com. That's Saint, S-T, johnslombard.com. stjohnslombard.com. It's in Lombard, Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Downers Grove, and all places nearby. stjohnslombard.com.
Would you go to court without a lawyer when the other guy is lawyered up? Or are you going to go it alone and learn law and procedure as you go? When you have an insurance claim for your home or business, it's the same thing.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company.
Insurance companies will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%, and we could do the same for you. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom. Building trust for over 20 years.
Attention! Road Knights is expanding the Army. If you possess the heart of a warrior, the spirit of an adventurer, and an unrelenting drive to conquer new horizons with 3,000 miles weekly under your wheels, then hurry to call. Join the team that is strong as steel and united as convoy, and be on the road towards the glory. Have you had your commercial driver's license for over 2 years? Are you looking for an over-the-road driving job for the smoothest running, most established trucking company in the Midwest? This is not just a driving job. This is a mission. Visit online at roadknights.us or call 773-672-2062. That's 773-672-2062. Or online at roadknights.us. Call or email today for details on a life-changing opportunity to drive for the best in the business. Victory is the only option. Road Knights Trucking. Join our mission today.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of MyPillow, and the 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. Proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet that soft feel you look for a limited time. 50% savings with promo code LIBERTY. Eden's inbound 16 Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy inbound 30 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Light rain causing the Eisenhower to slow up a bit inbound between Manheim and Des Plaines Avenue. 30 into the old post office. Stevenson inbound 21 from the Tri-State to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan inbound 18 from 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. And you have an accident with a right lane blocked in the express lanes inbound between the Skyway and 47. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast a much cooler day ahead with some clearing later in the day. That sets off a comfortable stretch of fall-like weather. 70 today, 71 tomorrow, 74 on Saturday. 67 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Visit servpro.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Climate change emergency. There's no need to get into the semantics of President Biden declaring one. We're already living in emergency conditions. Good observation from Andy Kessler in the Wall Street Journal. In September of 2022, the California Independent System Operator, which runs the state's power grid, declared an energy emergency alert, urging residents to ration power from 4 to 9 p.m. In March, the European Union mandated energy consumption be cut by 11.7% by 2030. Brits are urged to turn their heat off at nights for emission saving. The Swiss consider jail time if your thermostat is above 66 degrees in the winter.
Jail time?
Sit in the cold and dark and like it and wait till you see the menu. The EU already allows crickets and mealworm larvae as food. Maybe
I'm not eating that to save the planet. I'm sorry. That's where I draw the line. I'm not eating bugs.
That's what you think.
Sister, calm down, right?
Big Brother has a message for sister. You're going to eat your mealworm larva and you're going to like it.
I'm not. Draw the line. Sorry.
Couldn't happen in the U.S. It's happening.
With the bugs?
This is a slow motion COVID all hands on deck to submit to the state sort of event. So, I mean, all the things that were attendant to the compressed timeline of the COVID emergency that generated the lockdown policies and so forth, they're all here with this eco-supremacy crew. In 2016, this has been happening for a long time. 2016, NYU professor Matthew Lau suggested using human engineering to make the case we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat. Re-engineer human beings. For example, he even suggested deploying a Lone Star tick where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat.
That sounds like mental illness to me.
How about the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group?
Oh, tell me about that.
Chicago's a member.
Oh, of course we are.
They have a target in 2030. The C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. Chicago member. All the big cities members. What do they have in common? Well, who runs them?
Democrats. And
The
they all
goal
have high crime.
The goal in 2030, no meat, no dairy, no private vehicles, 3 new clothing items per person per year. plus one short flight every 3 years.
A short flight?
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to make it to Utah.
I don't know if you're going to make it to Florida.
I think Florida.
I don't consider that a short. Well, what's a short flight?
They'll let you know.
Okay. Stand by.
No meat, no dairy, no private vehicles, 3 new clothing items per person per year. These are your mayors of your biggest cities in America.
I'm sure Brandon Johnson's all over this.
Emergency preparedness edicts abound. Gas stove bans, no plastic bottles for sale at San Francisco airport. Proposal from New York City's Department of Environmental Protection to ban coal and wood-fired pizza ovens.
Wood-fired? What's wrong with wood-fired pizza?
Yeah, we've
That
talked
stuff
about
has.
all this stuff. In addition to everything happening at the federal level with washing machines and dishwashers,
And now ceiling fans.
ceiling fans, and so for all these guidances.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Meanwhile, Bill Gates is on the job, so maybe we can avoid some of this ugliness. Maybe you can get 4 new items of clothing per year if Gates is successful. His
Why is he inserting himself again? Is he just bored?
Saving
I
the
love
planet.
these billionaires who have nothing to do.
His Breakthrough Energy Investment Fund has plowed $6.6 million into a project that would cut down trees and bury them.
Bury them?
Yeah.
What is that going to do?
Trees are the greatest threat to civilization. Trees are man's enemy.
I thought we wanted trees.
No.
Plant a tree, hug a tree, whatever. Bury a tree now instead of hugging it.
These deep thinkers have come upon this process called photosynthesis. And it turns out that trees are carbon emitters, and so carbon dioxide emitters. And so burying trees can reduce global warming. They want to cut down 70 million acres of trees to fight global warming. 70 million acres. By the way, that also says something, all this sort of America's becoming a concrete jungle and so on and so forth. It's more green than it was 50 years ago. But 70 million acres of trees Bill Gates is underwriting to be cut down and buried, not used for wood to build homes and so on and so forth. How does this make sense from a business perspective, you might ask? Oh, you don't understand all the carbon offsets you get, all the tax incentives you get to do something like this? More federal and state and local policy that directs civilization this way. 70 million acres of trees. Bury them. We know about the administration's research into blocking the sun. Block the sun, bury the trees, take your private property and cars away from you, allow you 3 new clothing items per person, no meat, no dairy. We'll send a tick if you still have a hankering for meat to infect you and make you allergic to meat. I mean, this is the serious disclosed thinking that is going on. You had our environmental czar, green energy czar there, John Kerry, why the long face, over at this summit in Africa, where African countries are essentially trying to extort the first world. We need carbon reparations for the punitive damages that you're giving us. And John Kerry, on behalf of our government, this country, is agreeing. Of course he is. Now, there is some pushback, sort of the Barrington Declaration version of the Barrington Declaration, in the climate space here. A coalition of more than 1,600 scientists from around the world have signed a declaration stating there is no climate emergency. They strongly oppose the harmful and unrealistic net zero carbon dioxide policy being pushed. The declaration is put together by the Global Climate Intelligence Group that argues that climate science should be less political while climate policy should be more scientific. And includes Nobel Prize winners in physics and so forth. So there is some pushback coming. But again, who controls the biggest blowtorches? There was pushback from epidemiologists, all the Great Barrington Declaration signatories. It had an impact. It certainly did.
Oh, for sure.
It was helpful what they did, but it didn't stop.
Change my mind.
It limited the damage, but the damage was still catastrophic.
And then
the
their
policy
careers,
damage.
but then they were silenced and their careers were damaged for signing the Great Barrington Declaration.
Some, yeah.
Not all of them, but yeah, some.
So on the science piece of it, well, that's what's going to save us, the 1,600 scientists who signed this declaration saying, calm the blank down. Get a hold of yourself. This is a really interesting piece over at the Free Press. That's Barry Weiss's outfit. Patrick Brown is a PhD climate scientist. He's the co-director of the Climate and Energy team at the Breakthrough Institute. The title of his piece, I left out the full truth to get my climate change paper published. If you've been reading any news about the wildfires this summer from Canada to Europe to Maui, you'll surely get the impression most are the result of climate change. While climate change is an important factor affecting wildfires over many parts of the world, it isn't close to the only factor that deserves our sole focus. Oh, here we go again. Back to trade-offs. We live in a world of trade-offs. Opportunity costs must be paid. This is runs afoul of the magical thinking of these lockdown artists, regardless of their predicate, whether it's climate apocalypse or COVID apocalypse. The paper I just published, writes Patrick Brown, focuses exclusively on how climate change has affected extreme wildfire behavior. He just published this paper in Nature. The two most prestigious journals for scientists to get published, Nature and Science. Those are the journals. He writes, I knew not to try to quantify key aspects other than climate change in my research because it would dilute the story that these journals want to tell. It matters because it's important for scientists to be published in high-profile journals. They are the gatekeepers for career success in academia. And the editors of these journals made it abundantly clear, both by what they publish and what they reject, they want climate papers that support certain pre-approved narratives, even when those narratives come at the expense of broader knowledge for society. To put it bluntly, climate science has become less about understanding the complexities of the world and more about serving as a kind of Cassandra, urgently warning the public about the dangers of climate change. It distorts a great deal of climate research, misinforms the public, and most importantly, makes practical solutions more difficult to achieve. Is there a bigger indictment of the entire scientific community than that?
Got a text message, but the fake media pushes 99% of climate scientists saying that they agree the climate is changing.
Well, that's statistic.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, it's not that they agree. That's not the statistic they recite. 99% of climatologist scientists believe that climate change is a threat to humanity, or words to that effect. And they have their talking points. That's the same thing as you can't, if you get the vax, you won't be able to give or get. You won't give or get. It's 2 weeks to slow the spread. The 99%, it's just a version of that. It really is a striking parallel, both in terms of the approach and all of the institutional interests that are aligned in a particular direction. And that's the thing that we should be afraid of.
And in regards to what you said earlier, about what Bill Gates is proposing, and that group saying that 3 new items a year, short flights only, got a text message. Will the Biden family be limited to 1 laptop repair per year?
Yeah. Right.
Steve on 88, of course, texted that in.
Really interesting, too. Just to break this down a bit further, because, it's nice to have effectively a whistleblower like this. The reason he can do this is because he's no longer in academia.
Oh.
He was doing this because he was, you've got to get published to get profiled to advance your career. It's a lot more competitive. There are a lot more people with higher and deeper degrees that are competing for sinecures in academia and think tanks and nonprofits. He sort of gives you, how it works in addition to his summary. There is unspoken rules. The authors never mention that climate change is the dominant driver for any of the impacts. Heat-related deaths have been declining. Crop yields have been increasing for decades despite climate change. To acknowledge this would imply that the world succeeded in some areas despite climate change, which the thinking goes would undermine the motivations for emissions reduction. So you never ask the question. How did this happen? Heat-related deaths declining, crop yields increasing. You're not allowed to ask that question, so you just gloss over it. This leads to the second unspoken rule in writing a successful climate paper. The author should ignore or downplay practical actions that can counter the impact of climate change. If deaths due to extreme heat are decreasing and crop yields are increasing, then it stands to reason we can overcome some major negative effect of climate change. Shouldn't we study how we've been able to achieve success so we can facilitate more of it? No. Your job is to induce hysteria, essentially. The third trick, be sure to focus on the metrics that will generate the most eye-popping numbers. You just heard an example, 99%. 99% of scientists, 99% of scientists, 99% of scientists. Rinse and repeat, and wash your hands after. Our paper, he writes, could have focused on a simple, intuitive metric like the number of additional acres that burned or the increase in intensity of wildfires because of climate change. Instead, we follow the common practice of looking at the change in risk of an extreme event. In our case, the increased risk of wildfires burning more than 10,000 acres in a single day. This is a far less intuitive metric. It's more difficult to translate into actionable information. So why is this more complicated and less useful kind of metric so common? Because it produces larger factors of increase than other calculations. You get bigger numbers that justify the importance of your work. You got to make a splash. You got to out Chicken Little the next guy. And that's how you get into science and nature. Big numbers justify the importance of your research. Climate scientists shouldn't have to exile themselves from academia to publish the most useful versions of their research. We need a culture change across academia and elite media that allows for much broader conversation on societal resilience to climate. His sort of concluding thought. We do, but one of the practical questions we have to ask is how do we get it? The 1,600 people who signed that declaration now is a start, and amplifying their voices, which we'll do on our show, on this show, we'll do our little part, is a part of it. But it again, this is a peer-to-peer project, just like COVID is. When you're dealing with an institution as big as sort of the administrative security state combined with a DC press corps that serves as their comm shop, there's no other choice, it seems to me, than peer-to-peer. You have got to communicate to people within your circles of trust about these sorts of issues. Otherwise, you're going to be communicating with them from isolation chambers where they house you. And I mean, on a serious note, it's going to be like it was during the lockdowns.
Exactly.
Where you're trying to, bail water after the ship is already capsized.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Hey guys, it's not enough to manipulate your testosterone by getting those shots. Did you ever stop to ask, why is my testosterone level so low anyway? Well, if you're a Y guy like me, I've got something for you to think about. Hormone levels get skewed not with age. Hormones get skewed by poor lifestyle habits. Our male hormone test can help us find the why behind your male hormone challenges. So give us a call and get your male hormone test today. Pumping hormones into your bloodstream is not the answer, not without the many health risks associated. Stop tampering with your hormones, because if you don't, you'll probably live long enough to regret it. So from one Y guy to another Y guy, let's get her done the right way, the only way, taking more natural steps towards healthy hormone balance and performance today. It's our male hormone test. No blood, just spit. Call 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, unfiltered, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SNC is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Come be poor in Highland Park for 2 hours. Blackface is optional. 606.
And you'll never believe where they're holding their poverty summit. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Most residents opposed to housing migrants at a Greektown hostel. Mike Madigan giving up his last political post. And the Cubs sweep the Giants. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
It's nearly time to fly. CJ Papa, Fox News. The testing for COVID-19 for President Biden has been negative since the First Lady tested positive earlier this week. And at the moment, he will be able to travel to a very important international summit. But the leader of Communist China will be missing. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
While the commander-in-chief will be heading to India for the G20 summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping will not be there. President Biden talking about it with reporters recently.
I am disappointed, but I'm going to get to see him.
When asked about what he said this week, the president's national security advisor says nothing has been scheduled, but President Biden is looking forward to talking with President Xi in the upcoming months. The White House says President Biden will have a number of talks at the summit with world leaders on issues such as the economy and the environment. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Justice Department plans to hand out an indictment to the president's son. Fox's Kevin Cork.
Special counsel David Weiss has announced that he will seek a grand jury indictment against Hunter Biden related to gun charges, and that's important because there are lots of other things and lots of other directions they could go. Now, those charges will reportedly be announced by the end of the month, according to a court filing, which reads in part, thus, the Speedy Trial Act requires that the government obtain the return of an indictment by a grand jury by Friday, September 29, 2023 at the earliest. The government intends to seek the return of an indictment in this case before that date. And Hunter Biden's legal team says, yeah, we sort of expected this to happen. In fact, we expected this to happen as far back as July.
The Biden administration cancels the remaining 7 oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
We've got now 2.5 years of a relentless war waged by the Biden administration on oil and gas production in the United States.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz on Fox's Kudlow. America is listening to Fox News.
"68 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. More than a dozen Chicago public school employees are accused of stealing tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars. A report from CPS says the workers filed false statements through the Paycheck Protection Program, then lied about supposed small businesses to get the pandemic relief loans. Of the 14 staffers, 8 resigned, 4 were terminated. Chicago Police Department alleges several officers have been threatened, assaulted, and battered by illegal migrants living at the 12th District Emergency Shelter. According to CPD, as many as 4 individuals face criminal charges surrounding the violent incidents. And residents are once again at odds over illegal migrants moving into another Chicago neighborhood. This time, the migrants are expected to move into Greektown starting on Friday. But the public had some questions for city leaders about the shelter and those moving in. Wednesday night, Deputy Mayor had no answers about background checking those moving in.
I cannot guarantee that everybody that comes into any of our shelters has had a background check that we can look at reliably.
Designed to hold 136
And the hostel
people.
actually can hold, right now, 136, but 196 are prepared to move in. A packed room met Evanston's Land Use Commission as angry residents Wednesday evening met with commissioners to discuss Northwestern University's proposed renovations to Ryan Field. They're proposing an $800 million project where Ryan Field will be replaced with a new state-of-the-art venue. Commissioner Matt Rogers.
We all are mostly Evanstonians, although we have a number of our neighbors from Wilmette who also have joined us this evening. But we all do live in this community together, and we can have different opinions without being antagonistic.
One issue for stadium neighbors, Northwestern asking for a zoning text amendment that would allow the new venue to play host to 6 concert events in order to help foot the bill for proposed renovations. Former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is officially ending his embattled political career. He will not seek re-election to the 13th Ward Democrat committeeman. His last remaining and longest held elected office, he was elected to that office in 1969. Cubs are now within striking distance of the NL Central Division leaders following an 8-2 win over the Giants at Wrigley. The Northsiders now trail division-leading Milwaukee by just 1.5 games, while the White Sox were winners over the Royals 6-4 in the finale of that series in KC. Week 1 of the NFL season finally here. Defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City takes on Detroit. The Bears additionally have a defensive lineman and defensive backs Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson limited participants in preparations for the Packers. The news, a service of the Barbecue Authority, your go-to for the largest selection of grills, smokers, and outdoor products, the BBQ Authority. Visit the Lyle showroom or online, bbqauthority.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum is confident about Trump.
For indictment Trump championship, which is pretty much making fun of these fake indictments. Trump is going to win the championship on those. The gut feeling that I have based on the totality of circumstances is that Trump probably didn't do none of this stuff. It's all a witch hunt. They thought it would hurt his chances, and it just made him bigger and powerful. Then he's turned into the Incredible Hulk now.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine you're on the couch in your living room and one of your kids or grandkids excitedly pulls on your arm, urging you to come play. But instead of feeling exhausted, you practically jump off the couch. To make sure you're keeping up with them, it's crucial to fuel your body with whole fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, most people don't get enough of these nutritious foods. That's where Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies can help. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies provides your body with the additional nutrition it needs, helping you to embrace all of life's greatest moments with energy. Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Russian officials recently revealed a new global supercurrency backed by physical gold will be announced on August 22nd with support from China, India, and other countries. Many economists warn this could radically change the world economy and possibly destroy the value of the dollar. And that means the value of your 401k or IRA is at risk. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to urge you to protect yourself and your family right now. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. August 22nd, we'll be here before you know it, so take action today. Fortify your nest egg using the power of gold inside of a tax advantage account. Text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free information kit on gold IRAs right now.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful at lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question, and the owners of Relief Factor tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. That's right, designed to heal, and I agree with them. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, yes, 100% drug-free ingredients, each helping your body deal with inflammation. Each of the 4 ingredients deals with inflammation from a different metabolic pathway. That's right there, approaching from 4 different angles, may be why so many people find such wonderful relief. So if you have back pain, shoulder, neck, hip, knee, or foot pain from exercise or just getting older, you should order the 3-week quick start, discounted to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you. It has for about 70% of the 500,000 people who've tried it, and they've ordered more. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF, the number 4RELIEF, to find out about this offer. Feel the difference.
6:09, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And we'll start on the Edens, where it's 21 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction, the Kennedy 34, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now, 42 from 390 into the old post office. Dan Ryan inbound, 22, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. In the express lanes on the inbound Dan Ryan, an accident cleared inbound at 47. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A cloudy start this morning, then partly sunny by late this afternoon. Look for a high today of 70. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Partly sunny, very nice day tomorrow, the high 71. And then partly sunny, terrific day on Saturday, high 74. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare and Midway, 64 and light rain in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by IDT. Eliminate paper files with the IoT Smart Connected Scanning Device. Find them at ready4IDT.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The city of Highland Park has a homelessness problem, and Highland Park residents are going to do something about it thanks to the Alliance of Human Service, or the Alliance for Human Services of Highland Park. Amy, you want to tell them about this important event?
Well, excuse me, you might want to clear your calendars if you're busy this weekend. It takes place Saturday, September 9th from 9 to 11:30 at the Highland Park Country Club. And it's a poverty simulation event to increase residents' understanding and awareness of what it's like to live in poverty in Lake County. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Participants in this immersive experience will begin to experience what a month in poverty feels like.
Yeah, they're put into situations in which they do not have enough resources and are forced to make difficult choices that could negatively impact them and their families.
And you do that for 2 hours. And again, as I mentioned, this is a blackface optional event. You don't have to come in blackface, but you're welcome to. And then you take the experiences you have for those 2 hours and you just extrapolate what it would be like over 30 days or 365 days or a lifetime, I suppose. Depending on how acute your sensitivities are.
I mean, I thought
the
this
outcome,
was a joke.
The outcome is increased awareness of the need for resources to support those living in poverty to create a more resilient health, human, and education sector in our local area. And once you achieve that increased awareness, you can go get in your BMW and go home to your mansion. I mean, if you want to have lunch at the club before.
Well, you could have lunch in the club before or after.
breakfast before,
and maybe
lunch
snacks
after.
in between if your stomach's rumbling.
If you want to get 9 in, before you want to get out there early, get 9 in before this poverty simulation event.
You have to
I'm sure that would be
register.
welcome.
Registration is required. You have to register before you can't just show up. You got to register for it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This
is a tried and true staple of North Shore policymaking.
Oh, really?
It's proven successful before, so why wouldn't it be this time? You know what I'm saying? Sure you do. The New Trier Seminar Day, the I Hate White People Day they had at the high school, one of the practicums, a simulation to see how long you can survive on the minimum wage. This is, what it's got to be 4 years ago now. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live on minimum wage? What decisions do people on minimum wage have to make in order to make ends meet? In this session, you'll have the chance to put yourselves in the shoes of someone who lives week to week in this situation. Almost no one does, but that doesn't matter. Through an online simulation, you will be given a minimum wage job, and you must make decisions to try to make it to the end of the month with enough money left over to pay your rent. We'll explore the role that race plays in this experience, specifically how systemic racism inherent in policies and institutions presents additional obstacles to people of color trying to get out of poverty. Here's my idea.
What?
Have the kids at New Trier square off against the Champagne Socialists in Highland Park in like a best 2 out of 3 simulations.
That's good. I got a great text message. Dan and Amy, should we wear our Lululemon? Should we leave our Gucci bags at home? And I heard Lake Forest is going to have a simulation to empathize what it's like to live in Highland Park.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I would attend that simulation. I would like to. Yeah.
I mean, can they try and be more woke? They're trying to out woke each other. If that's even a word.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then somebody texts in a picture. You'll never guess what the organizers look like. Do you want to see a picture?
A lot of runway models.
Let me just say, some have face coverings on.
It basically looks like
What does it look like to
it
you?
looks like Bill Clinton's cabinet, like Bobby Reich and Donna Shalala. The entire circus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these people. How can you take this seriously? Again, that's why I thought this is something from The Onion.
No. It's very serious.
Typical hypocrite white liberals in Highland Park. If you have white guilt, move under a bridge.
Right. Why don't you
I mean, actually do it. If you're going to go all in. Don't just half blank for 2.5 hours, pretend what it's like to be poor.
Yeah. Why don't you, I don't know,
I hope
sit
the local
outside next to the one homeless person in Highland Park for 2 hours, out front of the Starbucks downtown.
What a bunch of condescending BS from pasty white lefties.
They're just trying to do their part.
Reminds me of courageous Jane Byrne's stunt moving into Cabrini Green for 48 hours with a dozen armed guards.
Yeah.
So she could, quote, identify with the people.
It's the same thing. Well, that's why.
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, if you cut your penis off, you're a woman now. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to be a woman.
Clown
The next day, you're a woman. It's just so I'm experiencing. I'm you now. 2 hours pretending that I live in poverty. I'm you now. Interact with people in poverty. Going to do anything about any of this?
They're going to sit there.
No.
And Highland Park Country Club.
Yeah.
I mean, can they pick a more apropos place for the actual event that's happening?
Kathleen, Avalon Park.
Hello, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Hey, Dan, you bring your black face. Can I bring my tap shoes? Let's do a duo together. How about that?
There's a little minstrel show. The people at Highland Park will love this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They will love it. Oh, my goodness. They'll ask for a standing ovation, and we can put our head out afterwards, and they can throw quarters and dollars in there. But, this sums up pretty nicely why we get the policies we do, and it also reminds me of why we have the policies that we have that have destroyed neighborhoods like mine, Avalon Park, where I had an interesting anecdote just a few days ago. A friend of mine from the suburbs came over and was like, "Oh, wow, it's so nice over here. This is wonderful." And I said, "Nice? Wow, that's surprising." And she said, "Well, why would you say that?" And I said, "Well, I guess, I don't know, maybe my perspective's a bit jaded." And I said, "It used to be nice, but I don't see it that way." And she said, "Oh, no, it's lovely." And I said, "Well, it's a lot different than it was several decades ago when my parents first moved in here in the 80s, and the policies of moving families after the Robert Taylor Homes and Cabrini
Yeah,
Green.
right. The distribution of all the Section 8 families. Yeah, right. It destroyed the South suburbs
Yeah.
in part. Hmm. Yeah.
No, destroyed Southside neighborhoods
Yeah,
like
that's
Avalon
true.
Park and
True.
Chatham and so forth,
True.
and drove out middle income Black families.
Yep. Exactly
And,
right.
So anyway, I was just going to say that the same ideas from the Harris Policy School, U Chicago, white liberals that destroyed Black neighborhoods and many middle-income neighborhoods throughout Chicago, not just Black,
Thanks.
are the same type of people
Yeah.
who put these policies together in Highland Park. But anyway, congratulations, Coach Amy, on the victory last night, and good luck against Mather. Bye.
Oh, thanks for the call. A volleyball fan, too, Kathleen
Right.
in Avalon.
You can watch on YouTube, and you can actually come to a game, Dan. I'm trying to get Quinn and his son to go.
I'll be experiencing poverty that night. Laura in Rolling Meadows.
Good morning. I'm in Chesterton, Indiana now, thank God. I'm just curious, for the people who participate in this program, are they given a Facebook profile frame and a yard sign to signal to their friends and neighbors that they participated in that? That's what's really important.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. A participation trophy we should give them.
Yeah, and you get your free 60-day trial of Grindr with that, too.
Right.
Thanks for the call, Laura. Paul and Carrie.
It's just so insulting.
You know, I wish you guys would take this serious.
Yeah.
I'm curious if, I'm curious to know, is it inclusive where they will include those undocumented immigrants from other countries where they perhaps might offer a flight simulation when they arrive into the United States? I mean, that's important, you know.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Paul. Yeah, maybe part of experiencing that could be like having some raving lunatic like that guy in the subway in New York who took the cane from this disabled woman and hit her with it 50 or 60 times. You know, they get the real feel for it. You want the authentic experience. Don't shortchange me.
Well, somebody just texted in too. Why don't you bring a busload of homeless people
Exactly.
to your seminar, feed them and get to know them, have a little one-on-one.
Why
Have like
don't-
subgroups.
Why don't you put them up at Highland Park Country Club? Why don't you put them
Why
up
don't
at
you
your house?
Why don't you let them live in your house?
Yeah.
If you have
Or
extra
around
space.
it.
Go
We could-
all in. None
yeah.
of this like tap dancing around it. Just do it.
Exactly.
There's a person in Len in Highland.
Len in Highland Park.
Okay.
Hi, Dan. I want to know how that you know that there's one homeless person in Highland Park. No, seriously,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I gave him the number of my caddy master 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and my caddy master's never gotten a call. But I can tell you how
Because he doesn't have a phone, Len.
Come on.
No,
God,
no.
Len.
He everyone takes care of him. He lives very well.
Yeah.
Oh, there really is just one homeless person.
I've seen.
in
I actually have
Yes.
seen him. A friend of mine has an office up there. I don't know why, but yeah.
He is there. His name's Mike. But
Yeah, Mike the homeless
my
guy.
mom-
Everybody's going to learn how Mike the homeless guy lives. That,
He's
you know
like
what,
the walking
Len?
man in Chicago. Everybody knew who he
Len,
was.
why don't you go to this thing on
Oh, yeah.
on Saturday
You can report back to
no,
us.
no, you reenact. You do a little skit for the Highland Park residents there of you interacting with Mike the homeless guy.
Listen, my mom got divorced in 1963. My roots go back to 1904 in Highland Park.
Wow.
My father got away with paying practically nothing. She raised 4 boys, never had a driver's license till 1964. She got a job with the Army at Fort Sheridan. She worked at Briarwood Country Club at night as a waitress, and she worked at Jewel. That's how she did it. That's poverty in Highland Park because she wanted us to get the education here. And that's how you fight poverty in Highland Park.
Well, God bless your mom.
Hey, Len, you still have to caddy for me, by the way.
The invitation to Briarwood is still there. The member wants you to come. Your friend with the Italian-sounding name.
I got a lot of friends with Italian-sounding names, and with actual Italian names, not just Italian-sounding.
You still wearing your Italian horn?
Yeah, I still have the Mr. T
But
starter kit.
if you come up this fall, the course, we just redid all the sand traps. It's incredible shape.
I'll
But
tell you
we'd
what.
love to have you.
Let's.
Well, you ladies get together.
Well,
now.
and let's invite Mike the homeless guy to play too.
Oh, there you go. You know what?
Yeah, let's do
We're
a
gonna
little
simulate
little
with
little outreach.
Actually, I'll
purpose of
train him
the
the caddy.
All right, very good.
right.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Len. Appreciate
Where
it.
does Mike, the homeless man, live? Does he live in a cubbyhole somewhere?
I mean,
these buildings. Or?
I'm not. I don't got a tracker on.
They
him.
have got to bring him to this seminar.
Wouldn't it be
This
great for
Saturday,
Mike?
9 to 11.
I would love to get. I actually would love to get Mike the homeless guy's perspective
on this seminar.
on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I maybe I don't have the time, but otherwise I'd go up to Highland Park. I'd find him. I'd bring him there.
Yeah.
Mike, would you
Or
like?
why don't you just Uber him?
Mike, do you have anything to say? I mean, 'cause of course it's all ladies or de
Men.
facto ladies. Yeah.
Men pretending to be men?
Yeah. Do you have anything to say to the View crew here at the club?
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Uh,
This story is unreal.
George in Naperville.
Yeah, are they going to have specific marked off areas where people could take a crap outside?
It's a great question. I don't know, George. Thanks for the call. You may want to contact the Alliance for Human Services in Highland Park.
A bunch of lovely ladies.
To
Hey, ladies.
to inquire about that. That would be authentic. Could you imagine if you were driving up to Highland Park at about 11 o'clock for a late morning tea time, Highland Park Country Club, and you see a bunch of ghastly female ogres out in the lawn crapping?
With masks on. Because you have to save one life. Those are heroes.
God, I'd prefer to be on the Delta flight rather than see that. Actually, I might prefer to be on the Delta flight rather than go to this. John in Naperville.
One of our listeners has got to go to this.
Hey, John.
Yeah, you know, these so-called liberals in Highland Park have to realize poverty is supposed to suck. That's why you try to get out of it. This is why they should have never stopped taking scoring games and giving out participation trophies. Because when you lose, it sucks, and you don't want to do it again.
Thanks for the call, John. Chuck in Delavan. This should be an interesting
Hey,
perspective.
they should take and make a big square and sell raffle tickets like Bossy Bingo or out here in the farm country where we turn a cow loose and the cow goes and poops in the square and you win. So it's like a win-win. Hey, that whole thing about that blackface you said about when I was little, Miss Leonard, my fourth grade teacher, made us read Black Like Me from John Howard Griffin. And she got the books. I don't know how she got the books, but everybody in our fourth grade class had to read it. And real good book, good reading, but nothing ever changes. Thanks for taking a call.
Thanks, Chuck. John, Crown Point.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Love your show. Love Amy more.
John should go to the seminar.
Hey, so
Scare
I
the hell out
remember
of
when Walter.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember when Walter Jacobson dressed up as like a homeless person and lived on the street.
Amy's
I
father.
don't know.
Dad? Yeah, no, he lived in Lower Wacker.
Yeah.
We missed Dad that week.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, John.
Maybe Walter Jacobson can come up and, be the keynote speaker.
Walter the Hobo, they called him for one newscast.
Heroic.
I mean, that's what I'm
Real
saying.
journalism.
This is not new, so we shouldn't be surprised by it. This is sort of the performative, sentimental barbarism that you see from the left all the time, and it's been around for a long time. This is just the latest iteration, and perhaps the most entertaining. David in Winnetka.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
What about this? What about this? Winnetka. Winnetka needs to get in on this action.
Yeah.
Well, that's partly why I called. I belong to a Lake Forest, Lake Bluff Facebook group, and a couple homeless have recently. Same thing with Highland Park. There's like two guys, and everybody's in an uproar about it. And I lean right. However, let me backtrack. So growing up, we spent many Thanksgivings, Christmases, things like that. My mom was smart enough to take us to like homeless shelters and different things where we volunteered. Got to talk to these guys and girls, and you realize that they're very capable of taking care of themselves, but they have this. It's a mental issue where they just don't feel like they're worthy of stability and blah blah blah. The interesting thing, although I lean right, I see the righties complaining the most about things like, well, are they paying property taxes here, and are they doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm going, who gives a damn? Are they, molesting your children, or are they doing horrible things to you? Get to maybe talk to one of these people. You realize that you don't have to be afraid of them. So to bring to your point, bring Mike to this thing. That's actually a great idea. So people can actually realize, like, hey, these people aren't violent.
Well,
they're just not.
Yeah, well, that's right. And obviously you understand that if it was a bunch of these ladies in Highland Park getting together to quietly go do something charitable, like serve at a homeless shelter, there'd be no complaints. It's their their navel.
Look at me, I'm doing something.
Well,
Yeah.
they're navel gazing, really. I mean, it's not like this is really publicizing. They're not doing a marketing campaign to celebrate themselves, but they are celebrating themselves within their little circles, and that's all they really care about. It's the navel-gazing self-indulgence that is so emblematic of the left, which deserves unrelenting ridicule. Thanks for the call, David.
All right, today's the day. Remember, each Thursday in September, we are partnering up with the Pride stores to give away $50 gift cards at one Pride store location each week. And listen up, today's location is the Pride of Kane County, 3025 East Main Street in St. Charles. This is a brand new location on the corner of North Avenue and Kirk Road in St. Charles. And here's the deal. We're giving away the gift cards between 7 and 8 this morning, folks. So get there as soon as you can to the first 56 customers who pump at least 5 gallons of gas. Once we give away 56 cards, then we're done for the week, and you can try again next week. Good luck. Again, the location is 3025 East Main Street in St. Charles. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, what do we got besides free gas?
We'll go from the wonderfully enlightened suburbs of Chicago to that hot real estate market in the city. It's hot. Ooh, ouch. As well as the great schools in the suburbs like Oak Park River Forest. 636.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Nice music choice there, Justin. Little Gary Newman for your morning. 68 degrees at 6:31. Contract between the UAW and Detroit's big three automakers now a week away from expiring, and the UAW is threatening to strike at all three if an agreement has not been reached. Progress was noted overnight in the talks with Ford and GM. Federal prosecutors plan to indict Hunter Biden by September 29 on gun charges, according to a court filing. The president's son had agreed to a plea deal that would have spared him jail time for allegedly purchasing a gun as a drug user. An effort is underway this morning to find an American trapped inside a cave in southern Turkey. Our Mark Mayfield has more on the search and rescue.
Rescuers received a call Saturday saying that Mark Dickey was suffering from gastrointestinal bleeding and needed help. He's said to be inside the cave at a campsite more than 3,000 feet from the entrance. While Dickey's condition is stabilizing, he needs a stretcher to be removed. Officials are calling the effort one of the largest cave rescues in the world. Dickey had been helping to lead an international expedition in the cave. I'm Mark Mayfield.
A murder suspect is on the loose in Washington, D.C. Christopher Haynes escaped from custody Wednesday at George Washington University Hospital. It prompted a shelter in place for students and staff on that college campus. The opening bell rings this morning after a down day on Wall Street. Lower close follows recent reporting the Fed will most likely raise interest rates again in November. Chicago Police Department is alleging that several officers were threatened, assaulted, and battered by illegal migrants living at the 12th District Emergency Shelter. And last night, residents were at odds over illegal migrants moving into another Chicago neighborhood, this time into Greektown. The public had questions for city leaders about the shelter Wednesday night, but the deputy mayor had no answers about background checking those moving in.
I cannot guarantee that everybody that comes into any of our shelters has had a background check that we can look at reliably.
On Wednesday, 4 more busloads of migrants arrived in Chicago. There are now 18 shelters operated by the city. Mayor Brandon Johnson is firing back at some of his critics. The mayor responding to criticism that he's off to a slow start as mayor on First Tuesdays. It's an online political discussion forum. Johnson arguing that he's being held to a, quote, different standard, end quote, because he's a black man. Glen Ellen Police Department looking for a man who exposed himself to school kids Wednesday afternoon around 4 p.m. Police say the incident took place near Sunset Park. Cubs over the Giants 8-2 at Wrigley, while the White Sox earned a series split with the Royals following a 6-4 win. Week 1 of the NFL season is here tonight. Chiefs and Lions. And the Bears are missing a couple of defensive backs, Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson, limited participants at practice as they prep for the Packers. The news service of Blindster.com. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows. Shipping is free. Right now, save 50% off any order during their Labor Day sale at Blindster.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees shady business going on.
And so they have this coalition called the BRICS, a bloc of 5 countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. One of the things they're talking about in South Africa is the desire to strengthen their currencies and undermine the U.S. dollar, which would make us poor immediately. Poorer and poor immediately.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits for the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight and keep it off the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Locations locally in Skokie and Oakbrook, or available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm telling you, I'll be 74 in May, and I can't tell you how good I feel. I'm telling you, have my sister on it and her husband and so many different people.
It's just what the advertisements say, which is you get more energy. It really is a balance that the body needs, because if you just take regular people's diet, there's no way that they get the amount of servings of vegetables and fruits that they need. And so what this does, it assures that you are getting that. It really is. It's a beautiful name, Balance of Nature. And I tell everybody about it. When you got other people recommending it, it's a big thing.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
6:38. Quick check on the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center and the Edens. Right now, red brake lights all the way from Cicero to Montrose, 32 in from Lake Cook Road. The Kennedy already over an hour from O'Hare to the Burn Circle interchange, about 65 minutes in. Eichen 52, 390 to the old post office. Stop and go on the Bishop Ford and I-57 into the Ryan merge. And the Ryan add 30 minutes, 95th, into the Burn Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. A cooler day ahead. We have clearing on the way and a comfortable stretch of weather. High 70 today, a low of 61 overnight. 66 at O'Hare, 64 in Aurora, 67 degrees in Lansing. And your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by NJ Diet. Lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 40 days. Call 855-NJ-DIET or NJDiet.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
All right, do not forget, each Thursday in September, we're partnering with the Pride Stores to give away $50 gift cards at one Pride Store location each week. Today's location is, Dan, were you listening? It is the Pride of Kane County.
Oh.
The address, 3025 East Main Street in St. Charles. It's a brand new location on the corner of North Avenue and Kirk Road in St. Charles. And here's the deal. We're giving away the $50 gift cards between 7 and 8 o'clock this morning to the first 56 customers who pump at least 5 gallons of gas. And once we give away those 56 cards, then we're done for this week, and you can try again next week. So
is Willie Wilson doing like a dollar for dollar with us on this?
I don't know, but again, at 3025 East Main Street, $50 gift cards. Can I go? Because if I leave now, I'll make it there by 7.
Employees are not eligible.
Oh, all right. Well,
you have a job to
good
do.
luck.
Yeah. All right, we were talking about, all things that are great about Chicago, like the enlightened, wealthy suburbs, like Highland Park.
Oh, and we have a text message real quick.
Yeah.
Dan and Amy, I fully expect the Martha's Vineyards Migrant Farewell Committee to help out in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Remember that? They
Yeah.
had them there for a few hours, and they became pen pals. And
They'll welcome the one homeless guy in Highland Park, Mike, into Highland Park Country Club. Mike, it's been so great to have you. Now get the hell out of here. Go back to that whatever bridge you're living under.
You're wearing the wrong outfit.
But
we need a collared shirt to come in here.
But you've changed us forever. Thank you so much.
But again, please leave now.
Mike, you'll always be in our heart. You'll never again be in our club. Okay. How about that hot real estate market in Chicago? Oh, man, don't touch that thing. Dennis Rodkin writing in Cranes. Chicago home sellers twice as likely to lose money than U.S. average. Oh, yes. Chicago had the third highest proportion of money-losing sales on the list of 50 major metro areas, according to a study by Redfin. The only two urban centers that were worse, San Francisco and Detroit.
Wow.
We got them beat. That's real good news. Chicago is the only, in the 10 biggest metro areas, Chicago is the only one with more than 5% of sellers losing money. these statistics are way skewed. And Dennis Rodkin knows this, but I'll get into it in a second. Some examples that he provides. I mean, it's good that Rodkin is at least writing about this. Somebody is, other than us. Condo at the Waldorf Astoria that sold for $2.5 million. That was $600,000 below what the seller paid for it in 2010.
Whoa.
2010 was not a hot real estate market year, you'll recall.
Yes, I recall.
That was the
A
lows.
lot of people are doing foreclosures and short sales, yes.
$600,000 less than he bought it for in 2010. And that's before the surcharge on a multi-million-dollar home in Chicago that Brandon Johnson aims to institute. A condo at 600 North Lakeshore Drive sold for a little below $1.25 million. That was a loss of $88,000 for the sellers who bought it in 2012. Condo at River Bend on Canal, sale price was just under $1.89, lost about $137,000. Condo on Garland Court next to the Cultural Center, that went for $733,000. That's $4,000 less than the sellers paid for it 18 years ago. Now, of course, these are higher end homes. You say, well, yeah, these are higher end homes. Well, yeah, but yes, they're taking a particular hammering, but nobody is getting out unscathed. And the thing about this is, these numbers, obviously, they're way worse than just looking $2.5 million, $600,000 less than what you paid in 2010. If you just adjust for inflation, forget even the property taxes that you paid. You just adjust for inflation, it's a lot more than 5% of home sellers that are losing money. That's nominally, the way I understand the reporting here, nominally what's happening. Well, that's not how you assess an investment. It's not nominal. It's in constant dollars. And in constant dollars, you're hard-pressed to make real money on real estate in Chicago. Chicago land, Illinois land. That's a fact.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
And now layer in real estate taxes, where you're paying anywhere from 1.5% to, in some places like in Lake and McHenry County, 4.5%, 5% of home value in property taxes annually, and that's compounding annually. You're getting crushed in terms of return on investment. So, I mean, you can say it's worth it. Compass agent Barbara Stone, as brokers, we're very aware of the data. Yeah, but they're not going to tell you. It's a hot real estate market. But we're also Chicagoans. We love raising our children and families here, so it's bewildering to see what's happened here. Well, at least she's conceding the point. Bewildering to see what's happened here. Yeah, what's happened here is it's called math. And the magic of compound interest, or the magic of compounding, I should say. I mean, it's a hammer. So you say, it's great, whatever, I don't care about the return on investment in my home. We lived in it for 15, 20, 30, 40 years. That's fine. It's fine. This is the world of trade-offs. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we stayed as long as we did. Okay. I'm not passing judgment on that.
When's the ultimate time to go?
Chart your own course. The point is just accept reality. This isn't an opinion. It's just math. It's just actual numbers. So don't tell me something that is completely rejected by the data. All you erstwhile men and women of science and data. That's all. It's not a hot real estate market. It hasn't been. It's not going to be. You're going to take a bath.
Well, especially if they pass the Chicago property taxes. So, filling out your federal, your state, and then Chicago property taxes, people are going to be fleeing the city of Chicago.
What do you mean?
Well, Brandon Johnson wants to have a Chicago
transfer tax increase. Yeah, on homes over $1 million. That's what I said. So
also the city
those
tax.
Homes selling for a couple of the city income tax.
City income tax. That's what I'm saying. At a flat 3%.
Well, yeah, but that's not related to your home value. That's related to your take-home pay. Yeah, right. Of course.
You could live somewhere else in the surrounding suburbs and not in the city of Chicago.
Well, right, but on the property tax issue, it doesn't change anything. It's actually worse in the suburbs.
That's true.
With maybe the exception of Oak Brook because of the mall. Few exceptions. Few exceptions.
Elk Grove isn't too bad.
So it's just this conversation that we've been having for literally decades now. It's never like, oh, you have to move. You don't have to move and stay. You like it. You're willing to make the trade-off. Fine. I don't skin off my back. I'm just telling you what the math is. We're so unwilling to confront reality in this city and state. It always confounds me. And Dennis Rodkin is helping us a little bit here. But, boy, I tell you, you attach the real ROI when you include property taxes and you look at these prices in real dollars. Oh, man. You're gonna be down on one knee trying to catch your breath. Chris in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, this is I bought a home in Hinsdale in 2005 for about $750,000, and lived there for 18 years. Basically, moved 4 houses away to another home, but I sold it 18 years later, and we really did some nice things inside it for $750,000. So I basically, in 18 years, did not go up one penny. I was like,
nominally. So I mean, you actually lost, and that's a whole other thing.
Yes.
They're doing the upgrades to the place too. Absolutely. Yeah.
The only great thing about Oak Brook is it's about a 1% sales tax on the property. So our taxes on that home were only about $8,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's not bad.
Well, that's what I just said about
our
the
new home is it's a bigger home, and the taxes are about $18,000, but the home is about 1.5. So it's not as bad in Oak Brook compared to like Hinsdale and other suburbs.
Well, you know what you need, Chris. If you decide to move back to Hinsdale, you know what you need to do. You need to call Ben Bradley and get the Ben Bradley deal in Hinsdale.
No, seriously, he screwed the government
Thanks for the
out
call,
of
Chris.
tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, screwed the guy. Whoa, hey.
It's not. He lives in a mansion, and was paying $8,000 a year? No, $5,000. I'm sorry, $5,000 a year for that.
Hey, he just pays the bills that come in the mail. He doesn't know.
Okay.
He's just a newsreader. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for getting to me. I got a side issue. I'd like to know where all these people are coming from to fill all the new apartment buildings in condos being built and opened up downtown, like in Lakeshore East, the big One Chicago complex over at Wolf Point, and soon to be 1000 South Michigan. There's a lot of buildings being built downtown, and I'm just curious if they're filled and what the occupancy rate is.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Great.
Thanks, Bob. I don't know what the occupancy rates are, but I mean, the condo buildings are hardly being spared, and I think if there's not excess capacity now, there's going to be. I mean, there's just going to be because the city's shrinking. I mean, it's just like simple premises that take you in the direction of the truth. If something is not growing, it's dying. And the city's not growing. Just all you have to do is, again, look at the numbers, out-migration, the net number of people leaving. So we've tackled the great, enlightened, wealthy enclaves in Chicagoland, like Highland Park. We got our hot real estate market. Ooh, singe. And how about great suburban schools? This is what passes for an editorial by the toddlers who write for the Oak Park Leaves, which is a local paper. Now you know why local news is dead. These people are borderline illiterate.
This is grammatical errors.
No, but it's just that this is the Oak Park editorial, oakpark.com editorial. Oak Park Leaves, I think, is the name. Oak Park and River Forest High School was just ranked the 34th best public high school in Illinois.
What? Oh, that's right. They just came out with Alex Stevenson's up there.
Yeah, means nothing. The 34th tallest skyscraper in Wichita, Oak Park and River Forest High School. That's up 5 spots from last year. Let's start with our doubts about the efficacy of these rankings. Efficacy? Accuracy? Fully data-driven, the rankings use just 6 factors to create the rankings. What is the magic number of factors to use? When we publish this information each year, it leads some to chatter along the lines of, why isn't OPRF higher? Look at the taxes we pay. How come New Trier is always ahead of us? A few notes. 11 of the schools ahead of OPRF on the list are selective enrollment, meaning they pick their students. Their students don't pick them. And public high schools, including New Trier, Hinsdale Central, Glenbrook, and Glenbard, place higher than OPRF. That's a non sequitur. They are substantially less diverse, notably more affluent than OPRF. That's the explanation. Our high school is richly diverse, more complex, and that's the joy of living in Oak Park and River Forest. Celebrate it! Just celebrate it! Just shut your mouth and you celebrate it! God bless you! You don't question it, you celebrate! It's like they're throwing a little tantrum.
Do you feel dumber for having read that article?
God, this is,
what is that?
OPRF is not New Trier. Stop comparing us to New Trier.
We have more minorities.
Making me so angry. I'm gonna cry. Damn you. They're unintentionally, accidentally correct though about these rankings. They mean nothing. This is the 34th best high school in Illinois.
Yeah.
Let's look at the diversity at Oak Park. This is the scorecard that WirePoints put together for every high school. You may want to check it out. Every high school in the state. Illinois State Board of Election numbers. Just numbers again. Just numbers. Students reading at grade level by race. 74% of whites are, 40% of Hispanics, 20% of blacks, 67% of Asian students. At this richly diverse school. That's great. It's wonderful diversity. 1 in 5 black students are reading at grade level. Congratulations! Let's have a blacks-only student assembly again. Just celebrate it. Just celebrate. Stop criticizing. Just celebrate me, guys. You better. 58% of the total student body is proficient in reading. 51% proficient in math. That's your 34th highest, your 34th ranked, best ranked public high school in Illinois. And by the way, these others that are ahead of them aren't much better. What do the rankings mean? Nothing. Look at those numbers. No, don't look at the celebrate.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Greetings, friends. Sebastian Gorka here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and I talking about investing with YRefi for a while. You may have some questions. So let's review. It's true. You can earn up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. That's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose, and there are absolutely no fees. There is no attack on principal if you ever need your money back, and you'll get your monthly statement with no surprises. Just go to investrefi.com. That's invest, the letter Y, then REFY.com, or call 888-YREFI24. Friends, this is a solid investment that actually helps people. Just go to investYRefi.com or call 888-YREFI24 and tell them Dr. G sent you.
Got a text message. Dan and Amy, any truth to the rumor that Highland Park Country Club event about poverty will be called, quote, What Do We Do About Mike?
Yeah. It's like, what about Bob? It's like loosely based on the what about Bob plot line there. Yeah.
That was from the Amish texter. Thank you very much.
Shed that fat, be slimmer for the rest of the summer into the fall. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, no surgery. You'll lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose the weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised you're supervised the entire time, that is, to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. And you get Dr. T's personal email and phone number in case you have questions. Dr. T is Dr. Turovitz, the founder of NJ Diet. NJ Diet has locations close by in Skokie and Oak Brook, or is available from home with live online video consultations. Just call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm telling you, I'll be 74 in May, and I can't tell you how good I feel. I'm telling you, I've have my sister on it and her husband and so many different people.
It's just what the advertisements say, which is you get more energy. It really is a balance that the body needs, because if you just take regular people's diet, there's no way that they get the amount of servings of vegetables and fruits that they need. And so what this does, it assures that you are getting that. It really is. It's a beautiful name, Balance of Nature. And I tell everybody about it. When you got other people recommending it, it's a big thing.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. Right now, most Americans are not ready for the death of the US dollar. You have money sitting in cash, and if you don't act soon, your financial future could be at risk. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new digital dollar survival kit that's 100% free for everyone who calls today and claims your free survival kit. Simply call 800-900-8000 and give your email address, and I will have this new digital dollar survival kit sent to you immediately. Call 1-800-900-8000 now and claim your free kit, and also mention my name, Jason Hansen, and see how you could also qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Supplies are limited, so call right now before it's too late. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Migrant caravan heads toward Greektown.
Celebrate it! Celebrate! Now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
14 CPS employees accused of fraud. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
An indictment on tap for Hunter Biden, Gianna Gelosi. Fox News, the Department of Justice announcing they plan to hand down an indictment to the son of President Biden. Fox's Brooke Singman reporting.
Hunter Biden is expected to be indicted on a federal gun charge by the end of the month. Now, that is what special counsel David Weiss's team told a U.S. district judge yesterday, although the exact charges there are unclear. All of this comes a month after the first son's plea deal fell apart. This deal would have protected Hunter from serving jail time for allegedly lying about his sobriety on a federal form when buying a gun back in 2018. And that charge could land him 10 years behind bars. At the same time, House Republicans are demanding Hunter's legal team turn over all records of communications with the Justice Department related to that collapsed plea deal.
Now, the House warning Hunter Biden and his legal team could be called to testify before Congress if they do not provide those documents. President Biden set to depart for the G20 summit in India today.
President Biden hoping to make the G20 summit more than just a photo op. Biden will spend 3 days in India at the annual meeting of the world's 20 largest economies. Biden wants Congress to spend over $3 billion in new financing for the World Bank to bring so-called Bidenomics to the world, which includes new infrastructure and climate change projects. 2.3 billion people, nearly a third of the world, still cooks meals over open fires and basic stoves. Biden also wants Congress to spend more than $21 billion to support Ukraine.
And that's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reporting. The Biden administration abruptly canceling 7 oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge that were approved under former President Donald Trump, also promising stronger protections against development in 13 million acres in the National Petroleum Reserve. The Biden administration disappointed environmental groups earlier this year by approving the Willow Project in the Petroleum Reserve. Litigation over the approval of that project is pending. America's listening to Fox News.
.67 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. More than a dozen Chicago public school employees are accused of stealing taxpayer dollars, tens of thousands in federal funds. A report from CPS says the workers filed false statements through the Paycheck Protection Program and lied about supposed small businesses to get pandemic relief loans. Of the 14 staffers, 8 have resigned, 4 were terminated. Chicago Police Department alleges several officers were threatened, assaulted, and battered by illegal migrants living at the 12th District Emergency Shelter. As many as 4 may face criminal charges. And residents are once again at odds over migrants moving into another Chicago neighborhood. This time, they are expected to move into the Greektown area starting on Friday. Alderman of the 34th Ward, Bill Conway, says he was barely given any notice and was only told last week.
I had asked the mayor's office, I said, can people be moved from the 12th district into the Parthenon Guest House? That request was denied.
On Wednesday, 4 more busloads of migrants arrived in Chicago. There are now 18 shelters being used by the city. A packed room met Evanston's Land Use Commission. Angry residents Wednesday debating with commissioners over Northwestern University's proposed renovations to Ryan Field. Northwestern proposing a new $800 million project where Ryan Field would basically be replaced with a new state-of-the-art venue. Dave Davis is with Northwestern University.
Our new Ryan Field is an $800 million ticket to economic prosperity, with 35% dedicated to local, minority, and women-owned businesses. That's $208 million that we plan to spend locally.
Another Land Use Commission meeting is planned for further discussions on September 27. A Chicago man has been arrested after a wrong-way driving incident in the town of Kent in New York State. 26-year-old Edison Castro is believed to have been intoxicated as he traveled the wrong direction for several miles on I-84 Wednesday morning near the Connecticut border. He slammed into 2 vehicles. Several people have been hospitalized. Cubs over the Giants 8-2 at Wrigley. They're a game and a half back in the NL Central, while the White Sox beat the Royals 6-4. The news service of the AM 560 mobile app. You can text the word app to 64636. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees only one way for DeSantis.
The strategy has to be, listen, I want to win. I want to beat Joe Biden. I support the MAGA movement. I support what Trump accomplished. I support his ideology. I just don't think he can win, but I can. That's the only way Ron DeSantis is going to be the nominee.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Russian officials recently revealed a new global supercurrency backed by physical gold will be announced on August 22nd with support from China, India, and other countries. Many economists warn this could radically change the world economy and possibly destroy the value of the dollar. And that means the value of your 401k or IRA is at risk. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to urge you to protect yourself and your family right now. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. August 22nd will be here before you know it, so take action today. Fortify your nest egg using the power of gold inside of a tax advantage account. Text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free information kit on gold IRAs right now.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I feel better. I look better. I have more energy, everything. And I'm 60 years old.
Oh my gosh, you need to share every bit of the success. I'm in love with them, and I'm going to keep on taking them until the end of time because my body clearly is doing something with Balance of Nature. I mean, my skin looks good, and I've got energy, and I walk, talk fast, and you can see that I'm up with these fruit and vegetables.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
7:07 and a check of the morning roads. We jump into the Team Hochberg Traffic Center and take a look at the Edens, 34 Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy at an hour 20 now, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. While the Ike is at 51 minutes from Manheim into the old post office. Stevenson, it's an hour from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 32, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. The Reagan jamming up already eastbound between the York Toll and the Ike, while the Veterans is slow northbound between 75th and the Reagan I-88. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A few clouds this morning, then partly sunny. The high today 70. Tonight partly cloudy, low 61. Partly sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high 71. And then partly sunny, beauty of a day on Saturday, the high Saturday at 74. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare, next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. Online at papanicholas.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Migrant caravan heading towards Greektown. And I don't know, to hear the Sun-Times tell it, the AFL-CIO NPR Times. I guess AFL-CIO dropped out, but I still like to recall happier days, NPR Times. So this is literally state-funded media, the Sun-Times. Residents greet planned house migrants at Greektown Hostel with both applause and apprehension. Was it a lot of celebration? Celebrate! A lot of celebration going on there in Greektown?
Yeah, I don't think so. Not the footage that I saw. There were angry residents that packed the place, and then you had one person, say, this is what we have to do for the greater good of the community.
Yeah. It's, before we get to the details on Greektown, just this parallel, because New York is sort of the city that's most spinning out of control over this issue. And unlike here, you've got the governor publicly fighting with the mayor in New York State, Hochul and Adams. And just a reminder, we played you that clip from Gavin Newsom when he was mayor of San Francisco in 2008. Had a 10-year plan to eliminate homelessness in San Francisco. Anybody know how that went? The same thing in New York City. I mean, it's just the left destroys what other people build. And that's what government does so much of the time.
Well, last night, Mayor Adams said that the migrants are ruining New York City. I don't know if you want to hear it, but
migrants ruining Sanctuary City.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
Yeah, so what's the problem? It's your policy.
It's your policy. Right.
I'm so angry about my policy. The other thing, too, is, since he likes to play the race card, just like all these other identitarian hustlers, mayor coming from West Africa, coming from other parts of
Russia now,
Latin America and South America. Well, you don't like black and brown people? What if it was 10,000 people a month moving from
Sweden.
No, moving from Illinois, Ohio,
Oh.
Pennsylvania, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee? What if it's 10,000 Americans moving every day to New York? Would you have a problem? If the answer is no, because you want your city to grow, then why is it a problem? Why is 10,000, if 10,000 people, 10,000 Americans moving to New York City every month wouldn't be a problem? Why is 10,000 migrants being shipped to New York City? Why is it a problem? I mean, I have an idea why it is, but I want you to say it. Why is it a problem? That's a simple question to put to all these sanctuary city, county, state proponents. Why is this a problem? You want your city to grow, don't you? You want your county, your state to grow. So these people coming in, people are moving here, aren't they? Isn't that what we want? We want in-migration. So if it's not a problem when Americans do it, why is it a problem when your policies bring all of these individuals to our fair land? I don't understand. Explain it to me, BLM Brandon. Explain it to me, Eric Adams, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Kathy Hochul. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line. New York City, Dan Henninger just recalls the history for us in the Journal. During the 1970s, New York was the leader in the movement to deinstitutionalize psychiatric hospitals and facilities for the mentally ill. The theory was that the mentally ill should be cared for and medicated by community outpatient facilities. Well, that's, here we go again. Here's a theory that may have some merit in concept, but the devil is in the implementation. That promise of community care was empty. What else is new? Almost immediately, the mentally ill homeless proliferated on the streets of New York in the early 80s. Naturally, a lawsuit followed, and naturally, the New York court ruled that under the state constitution, the city was obliged to provide temporary housing to any homeless person who asked for it. So right back into out on the streets, sued, back in. I mean, it's across 40 years, the city has been unable to house the mentally ill. They have been unable to address the problem they created. Political will. Now the migrants arriving in New York, supported by the city's activist lawyers, have claimed the right to shelter and been granted temporary housing. The irony? The city is erecting migrant tent cities on the grounds of the long-abandoned Creedmoor Psychiatric Center in Queens. Policy failure begets policy failure. That's what you see playing out in New York, in Chicago. And unfortunately, even where a majority of New Yorkers say the migrant issue is a serious issue or whatever, that doesn't really tell you what's happening. It doesn't tell you how many people are really appreciative of the policy failures of the same people that they keep electing, just different names, same approach, policy failure begetting policy failure. So there's no, the hue and cry, as we've talked about, from South Shore residents or residents of the West Loop about this mean very little to me. I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all. Not until there is just an iota of evidence that there'll be a political reckoning. And I don't see it. And you're not going to get it from, the same people with different names. This Bill Conway, who ran against Kim Foxx. So, the billionaire son who so wants to be somebody by having an elected position. I mean, here's what he says about it. I'm confident we can do this in a safe and secure manner. Why are you confident? Just your belief in self? It's just a statement that politicians say. At the same time, Bill Conway is confident, the alder human is confident that this can be done in a safe way because I said so, because I hope so. Hope's a strategy. Ponce de Leon, Beatrice Ponce de Leon, who I believe searched for the Fountain of Youth way back when, didn't find it, tried to colonize. This is actually interesting about the actual Ponce de Leon. Tried to colonize Southwest Florida.
Oh, really?
For Spain. Ran into the Calusa tribe. They weren't having it. Injured in a skirmish with the Calusa tribe and died from his injuries. And that allowed Gary Chernoff to come in and build Calusa Pines Golf Course. See how it flows?
See, it all goes back to the little white ball.
It's just like Jacobs explaining the history of the world in Airplane. Yeah. Anyway, Ponce de Leon, Bill Conway, safe and secure, no problem. Ponce de Leon,
We've asked National Immigration Justice Center to give us more clarity on the types of background checks and processing of the migrants. I can't guarantee anybody that comes to any of our shelters has a background check that we can look at reliably, but most people that do cross the border go through some type of screening, except for those that are that enter illegally and evade border detection. What's the number there? 600 grand? I mean, the things they say. We can't exactly guarantee. We're very hopeful, though, and there's somebody else's responsibility. Hey, you're the one with the sanctuary city policy. You're the one saying you're going to put migrants up at this Parthenon house, which holds 200 people. So don't tell me what the federal government should or shouldn't do. It's your policy. You're doing this. So what are you doing or not doing? Oh, I don't know. We can't do that. But the mealy mouth nonsense and the throwaway phrases of these automatons like Alderhuman Bill Conway. And the response is what, a little grumbling at a community meeting by the residents?
Right, and they've already made up their minds. They
Doesn't
just
matter.
have this for, it's like a dog and pony show to make them look like they're doing something.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But one thing, the Parthenon, they were supposed to move in tomorrow, but they're moving in a week from tomorrow because they're not ready for them.
Well, like getting together, doing a party? We need a little bit more time to plan the party. We're making a cake?
That's what was announced last night at the meeting. They're not ready to house them yet. They got to clean up the joint.
Well, make it presentable.
Yeah, I mean, come on. They're living for free off of our taxpayer dollars.
Nobody asks.
Nobody cares. No, like all of our spaces are being invaded, and nobody cares. Look at O'Hare. O'Hare's a blank show. They have a black curtain up. If you guys go to baggage claim, behind the black curtain are hundreds of people.
Nobody asks the question we've been asking since this bubbled up to the surface. Maybe the governor knows somebody over at the Hyatt hotel chain that could pitch in on this one.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to.
Again, I'll ask them.
Don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We just want to limit our communication and our communication channels to what they provide for us. So we're not going to go over our alderhuman's head. We'll just sit at a community meeting and grumble, then go home and expect that, we made our point. It didn't. Or I feel good about myself because I said this is what we need to do. This has nothing to do with people coming to this country who want a better life. It's fine. I get it. Nothing to do with migrants. This is not, generally speaking, ascribing any negative connotations to people striving for a better life than they have in West Africa or South America. Not at all. It's the complete unseriousness and dishonesty of the political ruling class at every level in this country. That's the issue. And unfortunately, the lobotomized electorates in major cities that can't see their way to chart a different course. All they can do is see their way to occasionally grumble at a community meeting and pretend like they're doing something civically important. You're not. Frank in Arlington Heights, here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Alder individual, I think, would be the better term than alder human. I like that.
I don't individual. I think that undermines our commitment to the collective, which is why I like human. It's more generic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this whole thing with the Democrats and their whining about their own policies kind of reminds me of something Peter the Great did in the early 1700s. After he was building St. Petersburg, and they have the Neva River there, and they had some settlements and some other things across the river, he issued this edict that basically said that, and he wanted, because he was such big into the Navy, he wanted his people to learn how to sail. So he issued this edict that says everybody who's going across the Neva River has to use a sail so that you can learn how to use a boat like that. With using oars and having just ferries go across would have been more efficient and made more sense. And there were lots of people dying doing this and getting out into Lake Ladoga and other areas out there. And he didn't care. He was like, we have to learn how to sail. This is what we have to do. Until one of his doctors that he needed died drowning with this stupid edict of his. Then he changed it. That's kind of the same thing that's going on here. These Democrats, they want to have all the benefits of the identity politics, looking how pure they are and how helpful and how saintly. And then when there's problems with their policies, they whine, and maybe they'll make a change. I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Thanks for the call, Frank. It's sort of what Rusty Reno said on the show the other day too. We were talking about that, the dilettantes in River Forest that are obsessing about the use of the word productivity and their welcoming packages for employees because they're trying to recruit more non-white male heterosexuals into the ranks of River Forest employees. So, the thing is, people look at this and they say, oh, it's silly, but what's the harm? And it's not at my doorstep, so I can generally just sort of ignore it and relegate it to, sort of idle cocktail chatter that everybody giggles about and moves on. And that's what this is, too. It won't be, to Frank's point, until it's on the doorsteps of so many, and it's just not on enough doorsteps, I guess, at this point. Robert in Bloomingdale.
Hey, gang, how you doing today? Well, the reason I was calling is, you were talking about the illegal immigration problem. Senator Durbin, these are productive people of society, but did you know that they also have illegals? They want here in the state of Illinois to be police officers.
Yeah.
We have to be careful on who we're letting in here because they already caught a few of them coming over the border and the northern border as terrorists. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. Of course,
Right.
of course,
No
we
one's
need
being vetted.
Yeah, of course. This is just like like everybody just make a run for it. I mean, what kind of system? Right. Of course, we need a process by which people become legal residents, and just like we have a process for citizenship, and then again, it needs to actually be enforced. Of course, we do. I mean, the detail on this from all the former Customs and Border Patrol chiefs and frankly, elected officials at the border, both parties that we've talked to on this show. I mean, this is one of the things that's just so unnerving. It's not like we don't know what to do, what needs to be done. It's the case on so many. It's not that complicated. There's no political will because nobody pays a political price for there being no political will. And that's a real conundrum in a representative republic. By the way, a friend alerted me to this clip from The West Wing, one of the favorite shows of the left a couple of decades ago. I really never got into it. I thought it was sort of patronizing, but a lot of people, oh, it's so brilliantly written. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. But anyway, this is a fun scene. You want to talk about life imitating art 2 decades later. This is a scene with Rob Lowe, who played the deputy chief of staff, if I'm recalling correctly, to President Martin Sheen. There's one of the reasons I couldn't stand it. And Connie Britton, who's an advisor, talking to a representative of the Latino community about immigration. So listen to this. This is from an episode like 2003, and this is the exchange between, representatives of the president and this policy advocate on the issue of immigration.
What happened to loyalty?
You can't deposit it in a savings account. What do I get?
What do you want?
The high school dropout rate among Hispanics is higher than it is for African Americans.
We're going to double the funding of the National High School Initiative. What else?
Children who came to the United States after welfare reform.
There's going to be a major push on the Hispanic Children's
What's
Health
a
Act.
major push?
He's going to mention it in the State of the Union. What else?
Complete amnesty.
No way.
Complete amnesty.
Victor?
Complete amnesty for all undocumented immigrants from the Americas, Mexico, Chile, El Salvador.
Look.
The Legal Amnesty Fairness Act is in the Senate right now.
We can't back a bill that treats Hispanic immigrants any differently than...
Sam.
There's no way we can do it.
Sure we can.
I'm sorry?
We can do it.
We really can't.
We really can.
Would you excuse us just a second?
Hi.
When I said stay out of my way, did you think
It's
I meant...
a bold stroke that'll cost you some independence, but
Just so he can expand his union membership?
It'll also expand the Democratic Party. Millions of illegal immigrants could come out of hiding. That's millions of potential voters who are going to vote for you. 3 million voters in California, that's 13% of the vote, and 19% in Arizona. You know as well as I do the Republican Party is going to try to outflank us on this. You know it's the right thing to take to the president, so why are you giving him a hard time?
He's giving me a hard time.
He's doing what he's supposed to do. Recognize you're weaker than you were 3 years ago. Have a little humility, suck it up, and give him what he wants, which is going to help you in the long run anyway.
Victor? What do we get?
Excuse me?
If I take this to the president, what do we get?
California and its 435 delegates.
I shouldn't have blown up at you before.
Nobody will know.
Yeah? Loyalty.
So maybe that's why the federal government, Biden, Inc., not so interested in this. Yeah, we'll send some money to New York and Illinois to shut them up. They got problems in their cities. Those are local problems. In the long term, this is in our interests. This chaos that's happening in mainly big cities right now at the hands of the federal government's immigration policy. In the long term, it's in our interests. We'll cut the deal.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Talk about irony. The people who claim to want to save democracy are trying to ban Donald Trump from the ballot in 2024. They claim he is ineligible under the 14th Amendment's disqualification clause, which holds that anyone who's engaged in insurrection or rebellion can't hold office without a two-thirds vote of each House of Congress. On its face, the argument makes no sense. Trump hasn't even been charged with, much less convicted, of insurrection or rebellion. It's ludicrous to try to shoehorn a constitutional provision drafted for Civil War rebels to fit a protest that turned into a riot. Whether you like Trump or hate him, or are somewhere in between, this is blatant election interference. The maneuver is a clear effort to deprive the American people of the right to make their own choice for president. And it shows that Trump's enemies lack confidence in their own ability to beat him fair and square.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Did you know St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard is the only school in the entire state of Illinois offering the renowned Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum? If you're a parent in Lombard, Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Downers Grove, or the surrounding areas, and you're searching for an exceptional educational experience for your child, look no further than St. John's Lutheran K-8 school, where academic excellence meets strong Christian values. St. John's partnership with Hillsdale College ensures your child receives a rigorous K-8 academic experience. What sets St. John's apart is that they recognize the concerns many parents have about the radical woke agenda infiltrating government schools. That's why they're dedicated to providing a nurturing environment that promotes the Christian faith, traditional values, and critical thinking. The Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum, combined with their focus on Christian faith and character development, is a game changer for your child's education. Learn more at stjohnslombard.com. That's stjohnslombard.com. Give your child or grandchild the gift of a faith-based Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum-based education. Again, stjohnslombard.com. That's stjohnslombard.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I feel better. I look better. I have more energy, everything. And I'm 60 years old.
Oh my gosh, you need to share every bit of the success. I'm in love with them, and I'm going to keep on taking them until the end of time because my body clearly is doing something with Balance of Nature. I mean, my skin looks good, and I've got energy, and I walk, talk fast, and you can see that I'm up with these fruit and vegetables.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
There are more than 50 million people enslaved in the world today. Most of them are women and children.
They lock you in cellars or in rooms with no windows. 95% of girls that are born in the brothels remain trapped in the brothels for the rest of their lives.
SOS International is working to make freedom possible for these women and kids. And with your help, today can be the day another victim comes into freedom.
By the hundreds, we are saving those girls and bringing them to a secure place. A place that is a safe home for them to grow in.
Just $150 makes freedom possible for a trafficking victim. It provides shelter, food, counseling, everything they need to start a new life. Make freedom possible now. Visit 560theanswer.com/SOS. Every day that goes by is another day of suffering and abuse. But you can change it now. You can make today the day of freedom and rescue. Learn how you can bring freedom now at 560theanswer.com/SOS.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Okay, go for that. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Andrew Quinino, who's an attorney at the Pacific Legal Foundation, about reparations gambits from California to our fair city of Evanston. That's at 7:37.
And if you live in Chicago, you might not need to tip anymore. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here it is, Mike.
66 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy, but we could see clearing later on today. At 7:32, a strike could be on the horizon as the UAW and Detroit Big Three are a week away from the UAW's expiring contract.
September 14th is a deadline, not a reference point, and we expect all three companies to have an agreement with us by then, and if not, then there will be action.
The UAW is demanding an end to what they call a two-tiered wage system and want to be paid 40 hours for a 32-hour work week. President Biden's son Hunter is facing a federal indictment this month after the plea agreement he had with prosecutors fell apart.
The White House and Hunter Biden thought his legal woes were behind him. He's going to walk into that courtroom in Delaware, cop to that plea deal, and put this whole thing behind him. Now, that didn't happen, of course. The judge pulled on that thread, and the whole thing fell apart. Now, David Weiss has been named special counsel, and in a new court filing, he says, quote, "The Speedy Trial Act requires the government to obtain the return of an indictment by a grand jury by Friday, September 29, 2023 at the earliest. The government intends to seek the return of an indictment in this case before that date. Thus, the government does not believe any action by the court is necessary at this time." So another indictment is expected for Hunter Biden on that gun charge.
Hunter Biden's attorney, Abby Lowell, said in a statement they believe the signed agreement remains valid. The president heads overseas today, flying out of Joint Base Andrews en route to India for the G20 summit. A new report from the City of Chicago's Inspector General finds it's currently impossible to say with certainty how quickly police respond to 911 calls in many cases. The Office of Public Safety and Accountability found most high-priority calls, like shootings, have a 6 to 12-minute response time. But some areas of the city see wait times over 30 minutes or no response at all. Chicago police are responding to the Inspector General's report, agreeing that officers can and should do a better job, and new technology coming online will help. A Chicago accountant is going to prison for defrauding the state out of more than $250,000. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul announced that Oscar Garnett was sentenced to 13 years after being found guilty of theft of government property and other charges. Ironically, Garrett previously spent more than 2.5 years in federal prison for running the same scam and defrauding the IRS. Cubs are within striking distance of the NL Central Division leaders after an 8-2 win over the Giants, so the Northsiders trailed division-leading Milwaukee by a game and a half. White Sox split their series with the Royals following a 6-1 or a 6-4 victory in Kansas City. The news, a service of In Grace with Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
The Democrat base, the army of mafia misfits. They're not aligned with us. They don't want to fix the problem and have the principles of Americanism. The people who support Democrats to this day, right now, will, no matter what, vote for Joe Biden or a earthworm. They will continue to be the problem.
The Sean Thompson Show, weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer. Are you considering a unique way to enhance your investment knowledge this year? Then sign up today for the all-inclusive Eagle Financial Publications Cruise. Along with our trusted partner, The Money Show, we're setting sail this December to explore some of the most beautiful and unspoiled destinations in the Caribbean. But this is no ordinary vacation. It's a chance to learn from top Eagle Financial experts like best-selling authors George Gilder, Mark Skousen, and others who will be hosting a series of workshops and seminars throughout the trip. Imagine lounging on the sun deck while discussing investment strategies with like-minded individuals, or enjoying a gourmet dinner at the same table with one of our leading financial authorities. This once-in-a-lifetime cruise is a perfect way to combine education and relaxation. to achieve your investment goals. This cruise will sell out quickly, so visit EagleFinancialCruise.com today to learn more and to secure your cabin. That's EagleFinancialCruise.com. Eagle Financial is a division of Salem Media Group.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number foreverremodeling.com.
Is your cell phone in desperate need of replacement? You know the signs. Short battery life, so you have to have a charger on hand. Cracked screen that splinters? No. It's time to put that old phone to rest and upgrade to a new 5G Samsung Galaxy from Pure Talk. Ready? For free. Get a free 5G Samsung Galaxy with 2-day battery life, edge-to-edge display, and ultra-strong Gorilla Glass when you sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, text, and 15-gig data plan for just $35 a month. Plus, it comes with mobile hotspot. Get all the data you could ever need for half the price of the big carriers on America's most dependable 5G network. Make the switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk, today. Customer service is standing by. Just dial pound 250 and say Dennis Prager for your free super durable 5G Samsung Galaxy when you switch to Pure Talk. Again, dial pound 250 and say Dennis Prager, Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
7:39. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of the AM 560 store, where you can order your T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University. Eden's inbound 30 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy at an hour 12 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now 48 in from Manheim to the old post office. While the Dan Ryan is at 41 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Delays this morning on DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound between 18th and Monroe. I-80 stop-and-go traffic eastbound between Center and Chicago Street. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A cooler day ahead with clearing and the start of a comfortable stretch of weather. High 70 today, 71 tomorrow, 74 on Saturday. 66 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The North Shore is just a bastion of concern for one's fellow man, isn't it? A few years ago, as we talked about earlier in the program, it was the New Trier High School's We Hate White People Day. Their seminar day where they did a immersive simulation of living on a minimum wage. And then we have Highland Park this weekend, Saturday, the poverty simulation at Highland Park Country Club, where a bunch of ghastly middle-aged women in activewear will pretend that they're homeless for 2 hours before retiring for brunch. And in Evanston, of course,
Don't forget about us.
I never do. We've got the reparations program fully underway. In fact, the City of Evanston's Reparations Committee has announced a significant milestone in its ongoing commitment to address historical injustices. The city has dispersed more than $1 million in reparations funds through the local reparations restorative housing program, and an additional $439,000 is pending disbursement for mortgage assistance and/or construction and remodeling projects. Take that, California! Big talkers. We're doers on the North Shore. Andrew Quinino is an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation, and he joins us now. Andrew, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and Amy, thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be on.
Yeah, we hear a lot of loose talk from Bob Johnson wants $14 trillion in reparations, and Gavin Newsom there in your fair state, the Golden State, after eradicating homelessness in San Francisco when he was mayor, moved on to this, and you're talking a couple $1 million plus 150 years of reparations payments for descendants, plus buy a home for $1. That's all great. It's nice talk, but when are we going to see some money put to that proposal?
Yeah, well, we just need a couple more million, and then we'll really resolve historic discrimination. It's not too long now. Right now in California, the reparations proposals are with the legislature. It's now up to them to adopt all or some or none of the task force's recommendations. They are already proposing a bill to establish the Freedmen's Bureau, which would be a new government agency that would be responsible for overseeing the implementation of reparations among California and all of the agencies responsible for doing that. So they're already presuming that something will get passed here, such that they already have the apparatus or proposing the apparatus to be put in place to get all that. And we've got Evanston to thank for the inspiration. Evanston was heavily referenced and cited favorably in the California reparations report. So they're hoping to model something like that, at least in terms of housing.
Yeah, I watched some of the meetings where they were deciding who would get the funds, but it's so goofy because you have to use the money to either do improvements on your home or pay your rent or pay
down payment
on a house.
Yeah, and there was a lot of consternation about that because you had a lot of eligible folks that didn't own homes and were not interested in buying a home, and then you had the folks that moved out of Evanston and didn't need, because you had to use that money towards property inside the city limits of Evanston. So they actually changed the program a few months ago. So now you can just get the $25,000 as cash. You don't actually have to put it towards any housing or repairing for a home.
Perfect.
A lot of, yeah, right. So, I mean, that's exactly what a lot of people were looking for. And what I'm curious about are the people that are left out of the process. This is supposed to address housing discrimination but it prioritizes Black residents that lived in Evanston between 1919 and 1969. There are other folks, though, during that time living in Evanston who probably themselves experienced housing discrimination, but they are not prioritized by this program. So
they don't care.
It'd be interesting to see what they say.
They don't care.
Well, yeah.
They don't care. I mean, by the way, yeah, right. This period of housing discrimination in Evanston was a period like the last 150 years where Evanston was ruled by a bunch of white leftists. It's not like Evanston was some conservative bastion back in the early to mid to late 20th century. It's always been left. So, and so that's number one. I mean, that's just the hilarity of it all. They're all the hand-wringing about the sins of the past. Well, the sins of the past committed by your fellow travelers ideologically, probably some of your descendant, your relatives, right? That you're descended from. But anyway, but the problem is, it's interesting too, because I saw in Oklahoma that there was a group that sued the city for failure to provide reparations to, I guess, descendants of the 1921 Tulsa Wall Street massacre, where that's actually something I could get behind in a limited fashion if you could actually identify victim parties that were victims, descendants of actual victims that were discriminated against, and thus the families were not, first of all, in terms of what happened to them, and then secondly, in terms of any sort of justice after the fact. But anyway, that was denied by the court. So it's very interesting to see what's happening too. You can't impose through the courts. It's going to be very difficult to impose through the courts reparations programs, but you don't need to. You just need places like Evanston and big cities. I mean, we've got the new mayor of Chicago, BLM Brandon, has a reparations committee that he stood up. State of Illinois has one too. I mean, so you just need big blue urban centers and big blue states dominated by the left, and they'll do it voluntarily, and there won't be a peep from the left. There'll be some grumbling. It's sort of like the migrant crisis. There'll be some grumbling. There'll be conservatives who say this isn't fair. There'll be people who employ the logic of saying, well, what about the Japanese during World War II, although they did get some compensation. But what about the Chinese in the late 1800s? What about the Irish and Italians when they came over in the early part? I mean, you do the endless thing that everybody can do, but it doesn't matter because the problem is you don't have a coalition that imposes pressure on politicians, and they do. And that's the only thing that matters. And it seems to me we need to strip all of the other stuff away and just say, you have to understand how this now works in the identitarian era. If you can't put pressure through your identity group on politicians to extract benefits to you from others, then you're not going to get them. That's how it works. It has nothing to do with the rule of law. It has nothing to do with justice. It has nothing to do with equal protection before the law. It's just a Hobbesian state of nature. Whoever can impose the most identitarian pressure wins the cash.
Right, and that's what's so frustrating about all this, because yes, there is the Constitution that prevails over all of this, but unless you have folks willing to stand up and apply the pressure, as you said, you're going to have states and cities get away with this type of thing. And you know, as a place as diverse as areas where reparations are being imposed, you would think there would be a loud coalition of other people saying, you know, what about us? And ultimately, the Constitution could be the vehicle for saying, what about us? I mean, this past summer, we learned from the Supreme Court that eliminating discrimination means eliminating all of it, not just for some people, but for everyone. And that means getting race out of government. And now is the time to act and actually apply that pressure. So hopefully there are folks willing to stand up as you.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, but that's exactly right. I mean, it's the implementation piece. We have the Supreme Court decision in the Harvard admissions case, and it's going to spawn litigation in all sorts of arenas. But if you don't have the ability not just to litigate, but then also to force implementation after the fact, then they will do workarounds, and you can expect that to continue.
Right, and it's those workarounds obviously would be expected. But you got to start somewhere, and you know, even forcing them into doing the workarounds, while that's still discouraging, you know, it's still putting on the pressure and putting up the fight. But you know, Evanston has gone definitely farther than a lot of other places, and people should be concerned that this is coming to a state near them, because several mayors have already pledged their own commitments to reparations. A lot of other cities and counties have started their task force. So it doesn't end with Evanston, and it doesn't end with California. We'll see more of this across the country.
And who's paying for all of this?
All of us.
Right.
We're all paying for this. And it's, you know, and it's not just monetarily. I mean, it impacts every policy. It has all these policy implications. I mean, just with Evanston alone, all they're doing is helping people pay for the high cost of housing. They're not actually addressing the root cause of why housing is so expensive in the first place in Evanston. They're going to say, well, it's because of race and historical racial injustice. Well, there's obviously the other factors going into it that they're ignoring, because race is the more convenient narrative, or the narrative that they want to put forward. Well,
right. And it also has the cultural impact too. I mean, this is obviously divisive, and it creates resentment by race, and that's not healthy for our society and our republic either. But they don't care much about that. Nobody seems, at least on the left, seems concerned about Frederick Douglass's warnings about government that confers benefits or imposes responsibilities by race, which that freed slave wanted nothing to do with because he saw where it goes. And you can be on the right side of it for some time, and you can be on the wrong side of it, but you don't want to be on either side of it because you don't want that to be the paradigm. But it's increasingly moving in that direction. We'll see. What do you think the chances are that California really puts a marker down on this and does something that garners, obviously garners a lot more attention than it has so far if it actually happens? When you're talking about $2 million cash payments to people.
I think you're going to see something very similar to what Evanston is doing. It's not going to be this huge wholesale reparations package where everyone gets a huge check. It's going to be bits and pieces of entitlements. So you're going to have tuition benefits for students to get free tuition at universities. You're going to have housing vouchers or low interest rate mortgages for eligible people for reparations. So it'll be things like that, just bits and pieces of entitlements and benefits.
And the Harvard case, and then this gets litigated to expand the opinion in the Harvard admissions case.
Exactly. It's going to make its way up to the courts because you're going to see litigation against all of these types of things. If not in Evanston, in wherever else it's occurring. And, it's fundamentally transforming our system of government if we continue to allow this to be normalized. We need to get back to a place where we separate race from state. We got to get race out of government.
Andrew Quinio is an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation. And note here that if you are an Evanston resident, so you're an impacted party, you should reach out to the Pacific Legal Foundation. They want people affected by nonsense like this to reach out. They're pro bono constitutionalists with 17 SCOTUS victories who stick up for people that are being wronged by the state, most usually. Andrew Quinio, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. By the way, it's pacificlegal.org, pacificlegal.org, Pacific Legal Foundation. Andrew, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line. And we want to remind people that there's still time. Head over to the Pride of Kane County at 3025 East Main Street in St. Charles for our gas card giveaway. The first 56 customers who pump at least 5 gallons of gas will receive a $50 gift card. Pride Store, 3025 East Main Street in St. Charles. There's still time.
Like Jim Ignatowski. Jim Ignatowski, he just tweeted, thank you for the $50 gift card this morning with a picture of it.
It's $50. It's a really nice giveaway.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits for the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight and keep it off the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Locations locally in Skokie and Oak Brook or available with live online video consultations.
Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
There's a battle for our nation going on right now. The question is, who will lead it? Get answers as the Real Life Network televises the Pray, Vote, Stand Summit September 15th and 16th with former President Donald J. Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis discussing what it'll take for America to get back to greatness, along with a host of conservative leaders like All-American swimmer Riley Gaines, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, Dr. Ben Carson, Pastor Jack Hibbs, and more. Go to reallifenetwork.com now to sign up for free. On the Real Life Network, the gospel is never censored by big tech or the government, with faith-based content, family entertainment, and new shows released weekly. Watch on any device, anywhere, anytime. Don't miss Pray, Vote, Stand, a free online event with Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and other conservative leaders, September 15th and 16th. Available at reallifenetwork.com or download the app and sign up for free.
Structural foundation problems? Permaseal can help. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Last year's severe drought has homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana experiencing symptoms of structural foundation issues. Cracked brickwork or caulking, uneven floors, new cracks in the drywall or ceiling, doors or windows that no longer open or shut properly, or basement walls that are leaning or bowing. All of these can be signs of a structural foundation issue. Too often we hear of homeowners paying for an expensive consultation just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. Our certified structural consultants will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer you a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. Life's frustrating enough. Let's fix what we can and avoid even bigger problems. Call Permaseal today, 800-421-7325, or visit permaseal.net.
Don't best for and better Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
808, Steve Moore, noted economist, GovZilla author, joins us to talk all things dollars and cents. That's 808.
You might not have to tip in Chicago. We'll explain, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
One man is dead in a motorcycle crash in Libertyville. Mike Madigan giving up his last political post. The Great Northwestern Stadium debate continues. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Are the walls closing in? CJ Papa, Fox News. The Department of Justice could soon slap an indictment on the president's son. Fox's Brooke Singman reports.
Hunter Biden is expected to be indicted on a federal gun charge by the end of the month. Now, that is what special counsel David Weiss's team told a U.S. district judge yesterday, although the exact charges there are unclear. All of this comes a month after the first son's plea deal fell apart. This deal would have protected Hunter from serving jail time for allegedly lying about his sobriety on a federal form when buying a gun back in 2018, and that charge could land him 10 years behind bars. At the same time, House Republicans are demanding Hunter's legal team turn over all records of communications with the Justice Department related to that collapsed plea deal.
And the Republican-led House warning Hunter Biden and his legal team could be called to testify before Congress if they do not provide those documents. So far, President Biden tests negative for COVID-19 since the First Lady tested positive earlier this week, and at the moment he will be able to travel later today to a key international get-together.
President Biden hoping to make the G20 summit more than just a photo op. Biden will spend 3 days in India at the annual meeting of the world's 20 largest economies. Biden wants Congress to spend over $3 billion in new financing for the World Bank to bring so-called Bidenomics to the world, which includes new infrastructure and climate change projects. 2.3 billion people, nearly a third of the world, still cooks meals over open fires and basic stoves. Biden also wants Congress to spend more than $21 billion to support Ukraine.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reporting the Biden administration cancels the remaining 7 oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
We've got now 2.5 years of a relentless war waged by the Biden administration on oil and gas production in the United States.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz on Fox's Kudlow. America's listening to Fox News.
66 degrees this morning at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Mike Scott. More than a dozen Chicago public school employees are accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds. A report from CPS says the workers filed false statements through the Paycheck Protection Program. Each fraudulently received up to $21,000. 8 have resigned. 4 have been terminated. Residents are once again at odds over migrants moving into another Chicago neighborhood. This time, they are expected to move into the Greektown neighborhood starting on Friday. Alderman of the 34th Ward, Bill Conway, says he was barely given any notice, only told last week.
I had asked the mayor's office, I said, can people be moved from the 12th district into the Parthenon Guest House? That request was denied.
On Wednesday, 4 more busloads of illegal migrants arrived in Chicago. There are now 18 shelters operating. A packed room at Evanston's Land Use Commission as angry residents Wednesday evening met with commissioners to discuss Northwestern University's proposed renovations to Ryan Field. It would essentially be replaced with a new state-of-the-art venue. Dave Davis is with Northwestern University.
Our new Ryan Field is an $800 million ticket to economic prosperity, with 35% dedicated to local, minority, and women-owned businesses. That's $208 million that we plan to spend locally.
Another Land Use Commission meeting is planned for September 27. Former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is officially ending his embattled political career. Madigan will not seek re-election as 13th Ward Democrat committee person, his last remaining and longest held elected office. The 81-year-old was elected to that office in 1969. Cubs beat the Giants 8-2. They're a game and a half back of Milwaukee, while the White Sox beat the Royals 6-4. The News is a service of In Grace with Jim Scudder Jr., now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Shoppers are pulling back on spending for footwear and accessories. Designer Brands, parent company of the DSW chain, says earnings and sales fell in the recent quarter. However, both were stronger than predicted, and the stock is higher. Fisker, maker of the Ocean electric SUV, expects to boost production to 300 vehicles a day in coming months. As of this week, it had only delivered a total of 450 Oceans so far in the U.S. and 325 in Europe. WeWork, the company that offers short-term office rentals, is looking to renegotiate most of its leases and is seeking concessions from landlords. Chief Executive David Tully says its current lease liabilities are dramatically out of step with current market conditions. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Biggest problem with marriages?
Men.
Right. We expect too much from our romantic partners. You know, if it weren't for all the Trump indictments, my choice in the primary might very well be Tim Scott. Obviously,
he's smart.
Is the smartest guy on that stage.
Well, and tell people why Tim Scott is so smart.
Because he's single.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
We can tell you about the incredible success we bring to local businesses, but it's better when it comes directly from our satisfied clients. Here's just one example.
After searching for a new vendor to handle my search marketing campaign, I contacted Salem Surround after seeing the great work they did for another restoration company in the different market. Their team of experts recommended a mix of multiple tactics designed to get my business the most quality leads at the lowest cost, making my marketing budget stretch further. In our first year partnering with Salem Surround, we recorded our best year to date, and I've told many people how blessed I was to find them. The representative answered the phone every time I called and quickly addressed any questions or concerns I had.
Let Salem Surround give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and show you what your competition is doing. Then we can come up with a personalized plan that's perfect for your needs. Visit surroundchicago.com and let our marketing experts help you achieve real success. Remember to visit surroundchicago.com today.
Introducing Term Busters, an unrivaled company that can help you save on term life insurance. In the highly competitive term life industry, rates have significantly dropped in recent years. For instance, a 45-year-old non-smoker can now secure $1 million of coverage for just $75 per month with a level rate for 10 years. Similarly, a 50-year-old non-smoker can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110 with a guaranteed level rate for 20 years. Smokers can also benefit from our great rates. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Whether you're in need of new or replacement term life insurance, call us today at 1-800-558-9940 for a personalized quote. Don't settle for paying more than you should. Remember, the number to reach Term Busters is 1-800-558-9940. That's 1-800-558-9940. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-smoker underwriting and an exam is required to qualify. Call 1-800-558-9940.
Russian officials recently revealed a new global supercurrency backed by physical gold will be announced on August 22nd with support from China, India, and other countries. Many economists warn this could radically change the world economy and possibly destroy the value of the dollar. And that means the value of your 401k or IRA is at risk. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to urge you to protect yourself and your family right now. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. August 22nd will be here before you know it, so take action today. Fortify your nest egg using the power of gold inside of a tax advantage account. Text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898. To get your free information kit on gold IRAs right now.
8:09, let's get an update on the roads in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. The Eden's settling in 35 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. An hour 14 on the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. 50 minutes in on the Ike from Wolf Road to the old post office, while the Dan Ryan is at 4295th into the Burns Circle interchange. The Veteran slows up northbound between the Reagan and North Avenue. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A cloudy start this morning, then partly sunny by late this afternoon. Look for a high today of 70. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Partly sunny, very nice day tomorrow, the high 71. And then partly sunny, terrific day on Saturday, high 74. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Clouds everywhere, 66 at O'Hare. Some fog showing up in Romeoville and 65. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping you powered up no matter what the conditions. CharlesEquipment.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. A little local lesson in economics. What is it that the Illinois Restaurant Association is assenting to? The same restaurant association headed by succubus Sam Toya, who capitulated to the lockdowns just a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. So there's this group of servers, waiters, waitresses, bartenders. They want the sub-minimum wage to stop. So they're at City Hall. They're demanding $16 an hour plus tips. And then other people are like, no, if you're getting paid $16 an hour, you shouldn't get tips.
Are wait staff around the city, are they supportive of this?
It's half and half. But members of the Restaurant Association told the city council yesterday that there needs to be an expansion of outdoor seating in Chicago so owners can handle the increase in labor costs. And here's Alderman Carlos Ramiro Rosa. Waiters are slaves. Did you know this?
This is a great day because we are closer than ever to passing one fair wage, ending this legacy of slavery here in the city of Chicago, and making sure that every single worker receives a full minimum wage with tips on top.
Carlos Ramirez Rosa is an out and proud socialist, and
he was wearing a mask yesterday too, but valiantly took it off to make that statement.
yeah, I mean he's
The
socialist.
courage.
Socialist doesn't really properly describe. I mean he's really a Leninist, but right. So yeah,
I'm just saying if
the
they get
legacy,
16
the
bucks an
legacy
hour.
of slavery.
Yeah.
So I mean this was done in another state, in another city called Seattle, in a state called Washington. They implemented it, and then the lived experience of people in the service industry was, we want to go back to what we used to have, because it turned out if you start at this wage,
I'm not tipping. I can tell you that. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks I'm tipping.
and so what's the net result? The net result is they made less money than with a lower minimum wage and a tipping culture in Seattle. So this is why there was a hue and cry to roll it back.
Well, do you think that they studied or even looked into what happened in Seattle?
Sam
Do you think
Toy-
they dug deep enough?
The Illinois Restaurant Association is such a good example of what happens in a kleptocracy, is that all of these trade associations, most private businesses, just become supine rent seekers, like the Illinois Restaurant Association, which is a disgrace. And by the way, Sam, you're going to trade, what is it, doubling the wage cost for the employer?
Almost. It's $9.
Yeah, almost doubling it, almost doubling the labor cost in exchange for some expanded outdoor seating. First of all, a lot of businesses don't have any outdoor seating. A lot of businesses can't do much to expand their outdoor seating. We have this thing in Chicago called winter.
Yeah. But remember, sometimes they put the bubbles over.
Not
but that-
everybody can do that either.
That's a lot of money.
And so the point is, how does that make economic sense for most businesses in Illinois? I'm going to double your labor costs. Some will get as much more seating as they can outdoors for 4 months a year. Are you nuts? And the answer is yes. For more on this, pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, economist, Govzilla author. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
What about you've seen this before, as we were just mentioning. This is, ever increasing minimum wage. And again, I'm, if you could just do this by edict and apparently have your trade association on board, then why be so stingy? I mean, let's get waiters and waitresses well into the six figures. Why don't we?
Well, a couple of comments on this. Number one, the other problem that happens when you get rid of tipping is, guess what happens to the quality of service?
Yeah,
Goes
right.
down,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
This is why tipping is really important, because if you have a really good waiter or a restaurant or someone who's your valet parker or someone who does a job for you and does a really great job, you tip them. And that really does incentivize people to do a good job, because
Absolutely.
I've had tip jobs before, and so why would you not want to reward the people who do a great job? Whether it's a waiter or whether it's somebody who's doing a construction project for you or whatever that is. So
Amy,
I find that to be
Amy and I bring tip jars to all of our events.
Yeah. You want to take a picture, you got to give us a tip.
for tips.
everybody. How many quarters are stuck in that tip jar?
Yeah.
But I mean, Stephen Moore, if you knew that the staff was making $16 to $20 an hour, would you want to tip anymore? Because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. You feel like you already, you paid for it. And by the way, just as a little bit of an aside, if you notice now that because everything's being paid for with, plastic, and, you just flip your, iPhone, and, you go to the Walgreens or something and you spend $12, and then they ask you, do you want to tip the service person? They're like, wait wait a minute, they didn't do anything for me. All they did was, why should I tip this? But then you kind of feel guilty if you don't tip them. So I don't know what the protocol is there, but I don't know if you've noticed that everybody's asking for tips now. But the other point I wanted to make related to this is, we had an item in our hotline the other day that should be deeply disturbing to people, which is we looked at over the last 50 years what's happened to the percentage of teenagers that are working today. And you know what that trend is? Down, 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 down. So fewer, especially, by the way, millennials. Millennials didn't work when they were teenagers, which may explain why they turned out the way they are. But it used to be that about half of American teenagers had jobs. Today, it's only like 30%. And so that's a bad thing because every single study shows that the earlier you start working in your life, the more successful you are. So having the kids at home at age 17 playing computer games, not having a job, is a really bad thing.
Well, and to your point, I mean, and from your hotline newsletter that you mentioned, we're now at 1.5 job openings for every unemployed worker.
Yeah. So the jobs are out there. And here's so to connect the dots between of this with what we were talking about before, when they continue to raise the minimum wage, what they are doing is that they're pricing teenagers out of the workforce. So if you raise the minimum wage, and we shouldn't, but if you do, we should have a teenage minimum wage of maybe $5 an hour. Because I don't know about, do you guys remember the first job you ever had?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I worked at Diamond Dave's at Randhurst Mall, and I got a work permit.
Was that a?
To do that. I had a red shirt on, and it was a
gentleman's club.
No, it sounds
Diamond Dave's.
Doesn't it
sounds like it.
The honestly, the worst. No, Stephen Moore. It is the worst name for a Mexican restaurant in the world.
Mexican
Diamond Dave.
restaurant.
It was a Mexican restaurant called Diamond Dave's.
That is a bad name.
Well,
Pretty
but
bad.
you got to admit, that first job, you learn job skills, you learn how to show up on time, and most people do remember their first job. I worked in a factory out in Northbrook, Illinois, and I hated that job. But I learned that hey, I don't want to work in a factory my whole life. I better get serious.
Well, what did you do?
I want to work.
What kind of factory work were you doing?
Oh, so what it was I was filling orders. So actually now they have robots that do this, but this was a mail order company. Mm-hmm. And so you'd get like people would say, I want 6 of these and 8 of these widgets and 12 of these. And you'd go down the halls of the merchandise and you'd pick all the stuff up and put it in boxes and pack it and blah, blah, blah. And, I remember what I was paid back then was $2.10 an hour. But I feel like today I should go back to the guy who ran that company and say, thank you. You taught me a lot. You learn a lot more on a job than you do in school, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, you're going to get replaced by a robot again before all is said and done, probably. So,
I'm very nervous about that.
Full circle. I wanted to play this clip from Douglas Holtz-Inkin, who used to be a CBO or OMB director on Bidenomics, which they're still trying to sell, and they're having a tough time getting buyers. Take a listen.
A narrow few of favored classes get ahead. Everyone else pays higher prices. They go farther behind. That's why it's not generally popular. You got to have something that's broad-based, real growth for everybody, and they don't have anything like that. Everything they do picks winners and losers, and there are a lot of American losers out there who are not happy about it.
Pretty good summation.
Of Bidenomics?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought? Yeah. Well, my favorite example of that is, and this is such an outrage, is that there is a $380 billion, not million, folks, $380 billion that has been authorized for a green energy slush fund. And do you guys know who runs that green energy slush fund?
John Podesta.
John Podesta, who knows, John Podesta is a smart guy. He's a political guy. He doesn't know anything about business. And where do you think that money's going to go to? You think Dan, you think you and I are going to get any of that money?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's going to go to the donors of the Democratic Party. It's a slush fund. It's a cash in, cash out system. It's completely corrupt, and that's how Biden is spending. By the way, $380 billion. I work for one of the biggest conservative think tanks in America, the Heritage Foundation, and we have a nearly $100 million budget, which is a big budget, but. $380 billion, that's like 3,000 Heritage Foundations. How are we ever going to compete with these people?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to put money in the pockets of the Terry McAuliffes of the world. That was That was green energy deals 1.0 back in the heady days of Solyndra. Now they're just scaling it, right? I mean, this is the same program. It's just which is always the approach. Same program, just make it bigger.
Yep. You know what? That's exactly. I was just saying the same thing the other day, which is that what you're really getting with Biden is Obama's third term. And so what happened, so people understand. So remember, people forget that Obama was a catastrophe when it came to the economy. It's the miracle of all miracles is how Obama got reelected. How it is that the Republicans lost that election.
2 words, Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney was a horrible candidate because there's no way in hell that Obama should have ever been reelected. The unemployment rate was still 8%, 4 years after the crisis. And anyway, so what happened was Obama came in and he spent all this money. Remember all the stimulus and all the shovel-ready.
Shovel-ready, yeah.
And none of it worked, and they spent like $400, $500 billion. And so what Biden came in is the left's excuse for why none of that works. Remember what their excuse was, Dan?
Not big enough.
Yeah, we didn't spend enough. We didn't spend the barrel enough.
Never
and we
is.
used to laugh at that. And then Biden comes in and spends 10 times more money than Obama did, and then now you see the effects of that too. So,
well, what's the seminal statement from Joe Obama's first 2 terms? It comes from the big guy himself. We need to keep spending money to prevent from going bankrupt.
Yeah,
exactly. And he's implementing it in his third term.
Saying we have to destroy capitalism to save it.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Moore, economist, Govzilla author. Thanks as always, Steve.
Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Take care.
You too, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
All right, it rained yesterday. How did it do? How did your basement do? How was your crawl space? If you still have that musty smell and you still live with water in your basement, you don't have to. Just call our good friends over at Permaseal. They will come and give you a free estimate. And if that air you're breathing is still musty and damp, when it hits you in the face when you walk in your front door, they have a solution for that too. Their PermaDry air filtration and dehumidification system. It dehumidifies and filtrates all in one unit, and it's very cost effective. You can save up to $189 per year in electricity costs over the store-bought portables. In the warmer months, dehumidifiers seriously help your AC run more efficiently, saving you energy dollars. Be sure to ask about their crawl space encapsulation as well and their clean space basement. It will eliminate moisture, harmful allergens, and gases. So give Permaseal a call today to schedule that free estimate. 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325, or visit permaseal.net.
Hi, folks. Dennis Prager here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and me talking about investing with YRefi for a while now. You may have some questions, so let's review. It's true. You can earn up to a 10.25% fixed rate of return that is not correlated to the stock market or the Fed. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose, and there are absolutely no fees. There is no attack on principal if you ever need your money back, and you'll get your monthly statement with no surprises. Just go to investYRefi.com. That's invest, the letter Y, then refi, REFY.com. Or call 888-YRefi24 Folks, this is a solid investment that actually helps people. Just go to investyrefy.com or call 888-YREFI-24 and tell them Dennis Prager sent you.
All right, I'm licking my chops just thinking about it. Taking my Balance of Nature. Did not get enough fruits and veggies yesterday. I think I had, I didn't have any fruits and vegetables yesterday. But I did have Balance of Nature 6 capsules, and what they do is they take the fruits and the fruits and the vegetables, and they turn it into the powder after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. Real food, real science, real nutrition. It can increase your energy, and you have the ability to do the things you love even as you age. So get your health back. Get Balance of Nature. Newbies get 35% off and free shipping. And the number to call, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or online at balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
The roof was completely gone. All of our memories being wiped away.
The rain is what got 20 minutes of sheer terror.
And you can feel it in your body.
I watched the fire move down the canyon.
The rumbling of the house.
My son started screaming, we're going to die, we're going to die. In the name of Jesus, we are not going to die.
At Samaritan's Purse, we bring spiritual and physical aid to hurting people around the world. We go into dangerous situations because in disaster, in disease, in war, Jesus calls us to love our neighbor, to heal the sick, feed the hungry, restore the broken. All who work and volunteer with Samaritan's Purse follow the example of Jesus. We go to serve, not to be served. And we go in Jesus' name. Join us at SamaritansPurse.org. That's SamaritansPurse.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, the 9th annual Blue Mass Luncheon will be held on Sunday, September 10th at St. Isidore Church in Bloomingdale. This luncheon will serve as a remembrance to those who died serving in the September 11th attacks. The luncheon will be followed by a morning mass. For more information or reserve your spot, call Father John at 331-806-7175. Let me say it again, 331-806-7175.
So Hard Knocks, that series on HBO, they're profiling the Jets this season, the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets. And in a recent episode, Aaron Rodgers, now remember, he is a ayahuasca enthusiast.
What is?
It's like a psychedelic plant.
Oh.
He's got a little hippie guy.
Yeah, well, he grew up in Northern California.
Yeah, he went to Berkeley.
Yeah, so.
UFO story. He's got a UFO story.
Really?
When he was at the home of a former teammate of his.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, the truth is out there.
We had this great dinner at his house in Jersey. I was making my way to bed, and I had like a 5 a.m. wake up. And I was getting down to bed. I heard this alarm in the distance going off. It just didn't seem like normal when I heard some rustling downstairs. So I got up, walked downstairs. It was a beautiful night. And Steve and his brother and I walked outside, and up in the clouds, we heard this sound, and we saw this tremendously large object moving through the sky, and it was like a scene out of Independence Day when the ships are coming into the atmosphere and they're creating this kind of explosion type fire in the sky.
Nice dramatization by HBO.
We just saw this incredibly large object and froze, as anybody would, because we didn't know what the hell was going on. And eventually it went out of sight, and nobody said a word. We just stood frozen, the three of us, on the front stoop of Steve's house. And about 30 seconds later, we heard the real recognizable sound of fighter jets going shoo, 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 shoo. That seemed to be chasing this object. And again, we just stood there in just disbelief for another few minutes. Nobody said a word. And then we all kind of looked at each other like, did we just see what we think we just saw? What was that? Eventually, 20 minutes later, we kind of wound down a little bit, went back to bed. And then you're still not really sleeping because you just experienced this bizarre experience. We looked in the papers and online the next few days, and there was nothing about it. That got me into researching more about UFOs. The siren or alarm had been from a nuclear power plant, which is about 9 miles away. And if you know anything about UFOs, there's a lot of sightings around nuclear energy, around volcanoes, around power plants. But yeah, Steve and I, great friends, teammates, and also witnessed whatever the hell it was. I don't know. But it was definitely unidentified. It was definitely flying. It was definitely a large object.
Yeah, I remember when I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind for the first time too, Aaron.
Wow. I'd lay off that psychedelic stuff, man. Ooh,
He's auditioning for the role of Robert Stack in
I
this
know.
Unexplained Mysteries.
It was pretty good, actually. Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, I still like the George Brett soiling himself story better.
Yeah,
but that was pretty good.
Classic.
Pretty good storytelling there.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Washington Times national security correspondent Bill Gertz about COVID origins and Ukraine, 8:38.
But now let's head into that newsroom again. Here's Mike Scott.
Coming up on 8:33, we have 66 degrees. Skies are cloudy now, but we're expected to clear out later in the day. The House Judiciary Committee wants Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis to turn over a raft of documents and records by this morning. Republican Committee Chair Jim Jordan sent Willis a letter demanding the documents late last month. Federal prosecutors do plan to indict Hunter Biden by September 29th on gun charges. That, according to court filings. You may recall the president's son had agreed to a plea agreement that would have spared him any jail time. The manhunt for an escaped murderer in Pennsylvania continues. Danilo Cavalcante escaped a week ago from the Chester County Prison near Philadelphia. The opening bell rings this morning after a down day on Wall Street. The lower close follows recent reporting that the Fed will most likely raise interest rates. Chicago Police Department alleging that several officers were threatened, assaulted, and battered by illegal migrants living in the 12th District Emergency Shelter. As many as 4 individuals may now face criminal charges. Former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is officially ending his embattled political career. Madigan will not seek re-election as 13th Ward Democrat committeeman, his last remaining and longest-held elected office. He was first elected there in 1969. Teachers Union at Chicago High School for the Arts is calling off a strike at the last minute. Instructors represented by CTU had planned to walk out after talks with the board had dragged on for more than a year. Cubs are within striking distance now of the NL Central Division leaders. After an 8-2 win over the Giants at Wrigley, they trailed division-leading Milwaukee now by only 1.5 games. White Sox beat the Royals 6-4. Defensive lineman DeMarcus Walker and defensive backs Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson were limited participants at Bears practice. Bears kick off the season Sunday against the Packers. Rock Island's Madison Keys punched her ticket to the semis after defeating 9th-seeded Marketa Vondarasova in straight sets at the U.S. Open. The news service of the Pride stores, 17 locations throughout Chicagoland that include Taco Urbano or Urban Counter restaurants. Stop by their newest location, the Pride of Kane County in St. Charles, on the corner of Kirk and Main. The Pride stores, not your typical convenience store. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees the country coming around.
But you know what? In talking to people, they're angry, but they're also resolute. You know the old expression about the sleeping giant? It feels like people are finally waking up. People are seeing how awful the other side is, and they're realizing we are going to have to get this country back.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Be the Life of the Party.
Okay, first turn the music off. Then ask for everyone's attention. Now, tell them that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Boom! Now everyone knows you're not just a pretty face. You have some brains inside that face that know how to save hundreds on home insurance. Woo!
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world one life at a time.
I've been taking this now for about 4 months, and I'm noticing a difference in my energy, and I am 89 years old. My mind is clear. I'm doing great. I am really for this product.
I'm 76. I'm really a believer. In fact, I even have one of my doctors taking them now. I told him, I said, the difference in my energy after taking them 2 weeks was miraculous. And I sleep better. I'm really pleased.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
8:39. Let's get an update on the roads service of Pfizer. RSV can be a dangerous respiratory virus. Not all dangers come with warning labels, so talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. A message brought to you by Pfizer. Eden's 38 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy right now is an hour and 23 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike, an hour 10 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, an hour 14 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan inbound 38, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Stop and go traffic on the Tri-State northbound between 95th all the way up to 31st. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. A cooler day ahead, the start of a comfortable stretch of weather with a high of 70 today, partly sunny and 71 tomorrow. 66 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You want to hear something painful? I mean,
I'm looking at something painful.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
here's
I mean, I got a
something
sore
painful.
on my foot. That's what I meant.
Here's something painful.
Yeah.
There's nothing more painful than when Geppetto's little boy, Tony Blinken, tries to behave like an actual human being.
Oh, no.
I mean,
He was in Ukraine. Is he still over there?
surprise visit to Ukraine, and he had a French fry summit photo op with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba at McDonald's there.
No, he didn't. Oh, no. Oh, no, what? Just play it. Play it!
That was like the real thing. Yeah. We didn't order in the kitchen. No, I'm a tourist. I cannot eat you this because of my doctor advice, but I do the same. Yeah, but I cannot. I think a cheat meal is something that she will forgive me with you. Once at least. Yeah. Okay.
We had, where I used to live in Washington, we had a McDonald's around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Very good breakfast sandwich. Very good.
When I was a student, my best hangover food was actually to go to McDonald's.
Well done. I'm sure that was a rare, very rare.
Very, very rare, of course. But I would go to McDonald's and buy double cheeseburger, big Coke, and that would be my hangover breakfast.
That never happened to me, so.
Oh, my
You
God.
guys should get some food while you're here.
We've been waiting for you.
Is that right? Enjoy it.
We already ate.
Oh, good. Okay.
How was your previous meeting?
The previous meeting was very good, but I thought it was appropriate to make sure that we celebrated with some French fries and cherry pie.
And did he say cherry pie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Can he be more out of touch?
He's very lifelike.
Oh, my gosh.
No wonder Putin is winning, arguably. These two knuckleheads. Good grief.
Oy.
Bill Gertz, Washington Times national security correspondent, author of Deceiving the Sky, Inside Communist China's Drive for Global Supremacy, joins us. Bill, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Good to be on the show.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, what kind of a great personality, huh?
You feel left out of that French fry summit? Is that can you explain to me how that advances the war effort? Something that painful before the Associated Press gaggle, the whole thing there. I mean, honestly, this is supposed to be some sort of existential threat to America's national security, and you have this minstrel act going on at the McDonald's in Kyiv or wherever the hell they were.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's trying to show U.S. support for Ukraine, and that's kind of an unusual way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least by the guy a shake, right?
Yeah, they're trying to push back against the Russians, and here they talk about mundane breakfast sandwiches and things. Kind of strange.
Yeah, right. We're fast friends. We're getting on, swimmingly. Meanwhile, we can't seem to punch through Russia's lines, protecting the Donbass region. So I asked this question. We had Cliff May from the Foundation Defense Democracies on yesterday. I keep asking this question because I hear the criticism of the Biden administration, slow walking it, drip, 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 not providing the resources that are needed to repel the Russians, not providing them in either the scope or the timeline that are required. Okay, so if that's true, then everybody must know what is required for the Ukrainians to have a chance to retake their country. So what is that? What does this entail? Why is this a well-guarded secret?
Well, it's basically a proxy war. The U.S. sees this as a way to use Ukraine to try to weaken Russia, and we're pouring billions of dollars over there. And my view is that we've got to focus on the real existential threat, which is communist China. And, that's really, this is going to weaken us. It's going to take resources away. We're sending lots of weapons there. We want the Ukrainians to win, but not winning. And if you're not winning, you're losing. So this is a real problem. Like I said, the big threat is China. And what I see happening here is that Russia and China are developing an alliance, basically to defeat the U.S. And we've got to recognize that. I think it's time for the Europeans. This is their neighborhood. They need to do more to help the Ukrainians.
Well, why? With respect to China, I should say, is there any indication that the dictator there, Xi, has some internal problems with his Politburo? There's some reporting that suggested that he was being reprimanded in some manner by the governing body there.
Lot going on there. It's not clear what's happening. There's all kinds of rumors. There's even rumors that Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader, had some kind of a stroke and is incapacitated. We don't know. They're very good at secrecy, and this happened in the past. He didn't make it to this G20 summit. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, he was supposed to give a speech, didn't show up. This could reflect some kind of personal issue, or it could reflect some type of internal turmoil within the Chinese leadership. They're known to have lots of differences. I know that there are people there that do not like the policies of Xi Jinping, which are to try and reimpose communism and do away with the reform and opening up policies, which really helped China become what it is today.
And the China-Russia alliance. What about Russia's and Putin's conversations with Kim Jong-un? Is that a particular concern, or is that just more sort of saber rattling by proxy, if you will?
Yeah, I think they're trying to, Russia's isolated, China's isolated, and of course North Korea is the hermit kingdom. They're trying to develop this new alliance, and sure, why not add North Korea? They'd probably like to add Iran too. And the whole target is the United States. They want to defeat and ultimately destroy the United States.
Wanted to get your take on the latest developments with respect to Hunter Biden. Let's talk about that a little bit from a national security perspective, because we had, the big news. Oh, he's going to be indicted by month's end on this gun charge, right? This is, equal protection, but equal justice before the law theater at this point. But what isn't is all the warnings that were going off years earlier, including this news that banking whistleblowers first raised alarms about Hunter Biden's business deals as long ago as the spring of 2015, flagging transactions. Obviously, he was conducting with foreign nationals as potentially problematic from their perspective with respective banking regulators. But it also then speaks to compromising America's foreign policy and thus its national security during those years.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge scandal, and the announcement that the prosecutor is going to bring charges related to gun charges, to me, smells of a cover-up, trying to cover up greater and bigger corruption that's involved. I'm hoping that James Comer in Congress, he's got a lot of evidence on the corruption and the relations with the Chinese. And I've written some stories on this too. There's a lot there, and to try and pick just a gun charge, to me, says that they want to try and cover this up. So that's what I fear. I think we've really got a problem with our Justice Department now. I think there is a lot of corruption, and it's really incumbent upon the House, the Republicans in the House, to really try and get some reforms going. First of all, they have to uncover this corruption, and then they've got to fix the problem. They've got to find out what's going wrong and then try to find some remedies for it.
Well, what are your thoughts on the FBI? Do you think they're corrupt too?
Yeah, I mean, sending the FBI to target parents in Virginia at school board meetings and other types of things also tells me. I mean, we've had two cases. This Peter Strzok was the head of counterintelligence, was corrupt, saying that basically the FBI was going to prevent Trump from becoming president. Then there was a case in New York where another former senior FBI counterintelligence official just pleaded guilty to corruption charges in relation to taking money from the Russians. So, this is really, these are signs and indications that there's something wrong within the FBI, and they need to have some reform. This isn't a new thing. I've written books on the problems with the FBI, and yet for years and years, nothing gets fixed. So, they have a saying in the FBI, the FBI's prime directive is protect the Bureau at all costs.
Yeah.
And it's become a huge over-bureaucratization within the FBI to solely protect the Bureau from any kind of criticism or reform.
It's difficult to assess whether the greatest threats facing the Republic are coming from the inside or the outside these days. Bill Gertz is a Washington Times national security correspondent, author of Deceiving the Sky, Inside Communist China's Drive for Global Supremacy. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I've been taking this now for about 4 months, and I'm noticing a difference in my energy, and I am 89 years old. My mind is clear. I'm doing great. I am really for this product.
I'm 76. I'm really a believer. In fact, I even have one of my doctors taking them now. I told him, I said, the difference in my energy after taking them 2 weeks was miraculous. And I sleep better. I'm really pleased.
Happy National Fruits and Veggies Month. Call 1-800-2468751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer today to receive $35 off your first order. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Carr Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
So what's the trouble here, mister?
I don't understand what happened. I checked my stuff in Chicago, and when we landed in L.A., I came to baggage claim, and there it was, my $10,000 Canoma analyzer in pieces, completely trashed.
Just the facts, buddy. What did you have it backed in?
Well, just the box it came in, but there was all this foam and thick cardboard. It looks sturdy enough.
That's what they all think, pal, till it's too late.
What am I gonna do now? My boss is gonna kill me.
Here's some good advice for you. The next time you transport anything valuable, put it in a Star Case, leading manufacturer of custom reusable shipping cases.
So where do I get a Star Case?
Now you're getting smart, bub. You can find everything you need to know to order one direct at starcase.com or call 800-822-STAR, where a friendly, knowledgeable sales engineer will be glad to help you design the custom case you need. That's starcase.com or 800-822-7827.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Talk about irony. The people who claim to want to save democracy are trying to ban Donald Trump from the ballot in 2024. They claim he's ineligible under the 14th Amendment's disqualification clause, which holds that anyone who's engaged in insurrection or rebellion can't hold office without a two-thirds vote of each House of Congress. On its face, the argument makes no sense. Trump hasn't even been charged with, much less convicted, of insurrection or rebellion. It's ludicrous to try to shoehorn a constitutional provision drafted for Civil War rebels to fit a protest that turned into a riot. Whether you like Trump or hate him, or somewhere in between, this is blatant election interference. The maneuver is a clear effort to deprive the American people of the right to make their own choice for president. And it shows that Trump's enemies lack confidence in their own ability to beat him fair and square.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. AM 560, The Answer.
Tom Brady has been retained to be a strategic advisor to Delta Airlines.
I know. They're trying
nice
to
timing.
Nice timing. Well, yeah, they're trying to deflect from the diarrhea flight. And,
you know what he should do?
Make the big announcement this morning.
You know what they should do? In solidarity with the employees who had to live through the diarrhea flight, he should crawl down that aisle like Andy Dufresne escaping from Shawshank.
Going through the poop? Uh-huh.
Show him what a tough guy he is. That's teamwork. That builds camaraderie.
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning, part of your lives. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. Back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Big plans for Hunter Biden. Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. The Department of Justice announcing it plans to hand down an indictment to the son of President Biden. Fox's Brooke Singman reporting.
Hunter Biden is expected to be indicted on a federal gun charge by the end of the month. Now, that is what special counsel David Weiss's team told a U.S. district judge yesterday, although the exact charges there are unclear. All of this comes a month after the first son's plea deal fell apart. This deal would have protected Hunter from serving jail time for allegedly lying about his sobriety on a federal form when buying a gun back in 2018, and that charge could land him 10 years behind bars. At the same time, House Republicans are demanding Hunter's legal team turn over all